Friends, fans, and fine folk, grab your drinks and snacks and come on down to Deception Check with me, Robert Hartley, GM. That's this fella. What's this fella doing? Hello, hair. Boop. Hello everyone, how's it going? We're doing an accent stream, a redemption from yesterday's Twitch Tales. Welcome in everyone, how's it going? You having a good morning, are you? Is it top of the morning to you? Most people it's for the morning, is it? Is it top of the morning for most of you? Afternoon, evening or night? For me it's night. Is 8 PM evening or night? I think that's night, isn't it? It's dark. It's dark so it's night. Is that how it works? Nah, because like sometimes it gets dark at like 6 PM and it's not night time at 6 PM. That's evening. I should start with Welsh. Nailed it. 100% accent perfect. Ready for those Finnish tongue twisters? Can I start with the easy ones first? Can I start with some easy accents? I'm going to start with Italian. After all of the volos, all the way through the volos guide to everything, I needed to practice my Italian accent. I don't think I need to actually thinking about it. That was pretty good. Let's start with Italians then. I'll start with an Italian. Start with Italia. Italia. Are you starting the I think the most fun to just keep changing accents, see where you end up. Yeah. Eastern European. Like Slavic. I'll be in bed at 3 AM except I work nights. Alright. So, welcome in everybody. This is a one-off stream, not my usual content. Instead of Robert Reed's tonight, I'm doing a deception check. I'm gonna be trying to pass myself off as a native speaker of different languages. So it felt like either a performance or a deception check, and performance checks get a lot of love elsewhere. So I figured I'd try for a deception check. This is a one-off stream that was brought to you by the success of the Twitch Tales stream that I ran over the weekend. On Sunday morning, I ran a 5 and a bit hour. You tell me what to do, Rob. You're not my supervisor. We did a charity stream for American Cancer Society, and we raised a shit ton of money. Thank you very much. And all of the milestones that we kept smashing through were things like a painting stream for my miniatures, and a community games stream, and all sorts of stuff. And this one is one of those milestones. An accent stream. So there you go. We're going to be doing accents today. Particularly, we're going to be making a great deal of use of this website, the International Dialect of English Archive. Highly recommend if you want to follow along with what I'm doing. If you have any interest in voice work and accent work and things, if you want to know what I'm talking about, this is a really good, useful resource for actors and voice actors and all sorts of other people that are interested in voice work. Just DMs in general. If you want to pick a new accent for your new character and you want to branch out and try putting on a Scottish accent for your next character that you're playing or whatever, head to this website. We'll be making a great deal of use of it today because it's super useful. Look, you can go, ooh, let's have a look at some Central American accents. Should we look at Belize, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, Panama, look, and then you go Costa Rica. All right, and look, bam, 5 different options for you to read from or to listen to of Costa Ricans. Here's a 24-year-old male Costa Rican. What do they sound like? Let's have a look. You go into here, it tells you a whole bunch of stuff. This was a 24-year-old man from a particular place of Costa Rica. It tells you like how old they are, in case that factors into their language. It tells you their ethnicity and their education and stuff like that. It also tells you, have they been outside of Costa Rica for longer than 6 months? Yes, they moved to Kansas in the US in 2008. And they'd lived there about a year when this recording was taken. Yada yada yada. It's even got the transcript if you can't really follow along and hear it, and then you can obviously listen to them speak.
This recording, Costa Rica 1, is copyright the International Dialects of English
I had no
Archive.
idea this site existed.
Comma Gets a Cure is copyright.
Who had been working daily at an old zoo in a deserted district of the territory. So she was very happy to start a new job at a superb private practice in North Square near the Duke Street Tower. That area was much nearer.
You can hear them talking, and the important thing is, the very clever thing is, the script that they read from, pretty much every resource on this one, except for the really old ones, the script that all of them read from is the same script, and it was specifically written by linguists to contain every vowel sound that the human mouth can make in the English language. It's morning for 45% of you. Nice. So it is a resource that is super useful, because if you are trying to do a Spanish accent, let's say, and you're trying your best to do Spanish, and you just find that there is a word that you are struggling on because it does not sound quite right, struggling, and you're like, does that sound right? Am I using the right U sound? Struggling. Then you can go to the particular thing that you're looking for. You can listen to the dialect, the recording, and there is guaranteed to be that sound in the script somewhere. So you can get that to that point and just listen to it over and over and over again and get it right. So it's very, 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 very useful. So let's not get too ahead of ourselves. I'm going to start today with Italian, because I feel like my Italian accent needs a lot of work. Obviously, I was joking and really hamming it up for my Volo's Guide to Monsters. But even if I was trying to do a proper Italian, it probably wouldn't be very good. So I need to work on that. So I'm going to go into Europe. I'm going to go down to Italy. I'm going to look at the 25 different Italian options that I have, and listen to a bunch of different ones of these and give it a go. So let's look for, just to keep things similar to me, let's look for, hey look, male, 33. That's pretty much me. I'm a 33-year-old male. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at this stuff. Occupation, actor, Italian Caucasian, born in Treviso, studied 4 years in Bologna. Also lived a few years in Reggio Emilia. No other influences on speech, so this is perfect. This is a perfect Italian representation. Never lived outside of Italy by the looks of it. Just moved all over Italy. Cool. Let's have a listen.
This recording, Italy 9, is copyright the International Dialects of English Archive. Comma Gets a Cure is copyright Douglas N.
Doesn't sound very Italian,
Jill
does it?
McCullough, and Barbara Somerville.
Well, here is a story for you.
Well, here is a story for you. Well, here is a story for you. So whereabouts in the mouth is that?
Sarah Perry was a veterinary nurse.
Nurse. So there's some rounded lips. A veterinary nurse. Sarah Perry was a veterinary nurse
who had been working daily at an old zoo.
So there's a zoo. The voice on the fricative. Is it fricative? I forget the different terms now. So, at an old zoo.
Deserted district of the
district, where's that? And in a deserted district.
Territory. So she was very happy to start a new job at the superb private practice in North Square,
near the Duke Street Tower. So there's lots of rounding. It's lots of round sound in Duke Street Tower. So it's all quite forward in the mouth. In the North Square near the Duke Street Tower. So it feels like round. It feels like pushing up the rounded part at the back of the tongue, pushing the sounds forward in the mouth. Rounded.
that area was much nearer for her and more to her liking. Even
so, on her first morning, she felt stressed.
On her first morning, she felt stressed.
She
ate a bowl of porridge. Checked herself in the mirror and washed her face in a hurry.
Then she put on a yellow dress and a fleece jacket. Sounded Slavic. And a fleece jacket. Picked up her kit and headed for work.
In a hurry. Then she put on a plain yellow dress in a fleece jacket, picked up her kit and headed for work.
That sounds Slavic, man. Italian's sounding a lot more Slavic than I thought. Picked up her kit and headed for work. Sup, Real Mark, how's it going? You haven't missed anything, just talking about accents. So we're going to be doing accents today. Keep going Polish. Yeah, I'm sliding up into Eastern Europe for sure. Thomas says when we were little I made voices to change your voice and accent by holding your mouth different. It's very interesting to hear how it really works. Yeah, so I should actually go into some of the specifics of what I'm doing, what I'm visualizing. There are a lot of different aspects to the voice. Which one to begin with? So whereabouts in the mouth you are placing the sound is a big one. That's probably one of the most important ones for accents. So how wide your mouth is when you're talking, how loose your mouth is whether you're allowing your jaw to be moving around, means that your tongue can drop. So think about the one bit that can't move is the hard palate. That's the top of your roof of your mouth. The top of your head doesn't move when you talk too much. It's not like we're Canadians from South Park and the top of our head is jumping up and down. The top of the head isn't moving. The top of the roof of the mouth isn't moving. It's the bottom jaw and the tongue that are doing the work. So the bottom jaw can drop open, and the more open it drops to get to those lower sounds, the more space there is between the tongue and the roof of the mouth. The more space there is, the more volume there is for resonance, and it makes the sounds sound different. For an example, for what I'm talking about, if I was to talk in like Yorkshire, like broad Yorkshire, we have like quite a low sort of bottom jaw, so we've got quite an open mouth sound. And then when I first moved to New Zealand, New Zealanders talk with quite a tight jaw, meaning that New Zealanders don't really drop their jaw quite as far when they speak, which has the incidental effect of pushing all of the vowels up one. So pen, which is quite an open mouth sound, pen becomes pin. Can you pass me a pin? And pan, a frying pan, becomes pen. So pan becomes pen, and pen becomes pin, and pin becomes peen, because everything gets pushed up a little bit. So open mouth sound, how much your fush and igs. So the tightness of the jaw is a big deal, like how far up in the mouth the sound is. And then the other sound is, we don't really have a left and a right sound of the mouth sound. So it's only really up and down and forward and back. And so if your tongue is kind of pushing things forward in the mouth, that's what I was kind of listening out for with the Italian there. The sound was coming, it sounded like the back of the tongue was being pushed up, which meant that all of the space in the mouth was at the front of the mouth rather than at the back of the mouth. So that's what I'm talking about with whereabouts in the mouth the sound is. I always love when Rowan does a lag test with the word pen. Pin. I'm going to say pin. P-E-N. Pin. We love a pen-pin merger, or rather a dick. Yeah, dick. Sitting on my dick. I've got a lovely dick. Got a lovely hardwood dick. All of the neighbours come round to sit on my dick. Bloody neighbour's wife loves to come round and sit on my dick. He's jealous. He wish he had a dick like mine. That's the New Zealand accent. Kind of thought Rob was younger than me. No, April 89. Pen and dick. Sounds perfectly like pen and deck to me, says Faye, a fellow Kiwi. So there's your, we are the Borg. We are the Borg. Resistance is futile. Not even half an hour into the accent stream. What did you expect? I wasn't the one who brought it up. So how far up and down? Connor, I don't even know what you're joking about. Front and back, no ideas. It's sort of like the tightness of it. Forward and backwards, top and bottom, forward and back. Those are how to place the sound. Then you've got other things that come into play, like the roundness of the lips. So if you're in an accent where you've got quite a rounded sound with the lips, rather than an accent with a rounded sound, you can hear, even if you close your voice. Even if I did this, you'd be able to tell whether I had a big wide smile or whether I had quite pursed lips. So you can hear that when you're listening out for these accents. Another one is not so much in the accent. This is nothing to do with accents, but the larynx, the voice box. If you pull it right down like this. If you want to isolate this, it's pretty. It only takes practice actually working. It only takes a little bit of practice to work at it, but you can move this voice box. You do so every time you're talking, and especially when you're swallowing. When you swallow, you pull it up, which pushes the epiglottis closed over the windpipe, so that no food and saliva goes down your windpipe and drowns you. So when you swallow, you can see the Adam's apple goes up, the voice box goes up, and it kind of resets your natural height for your larynx. It's called the laryngeal height.
So by pulling it up artificially, it can be confused for pitch quite a lot, but it's actually got nothing to do with pitch, because I can talk with this high larynx kind of quality, but I can still sing right down here. I'm singing quite a low note. I'm singing a low note, but I have this high squeaky kind of quality, because it's all about the larynx height and not the pitch. The pitch is how fast your vocal cords are moving, and it's nothing to do with where your vocal cords are. So I can sing the whole scale while I have a high larynx.
And conversely, if I pull my larynx right down, it gets this sort of deep bear kind of noise. I'm a greedy, greedy bear. I'm this kind of like, hey, don't you know, this town ain't big enough for the two of us. This is a low larynx. But again, I can sing quite high, even though my larynx is quite low. So that's another big part of work when you're coming up with different voices.
Keeping the larynx high or
keeping the larynx low or somewhere in between.
My passive perception is 24. I see you following me.
Thank you for the follow. Doesn't account for accent really, because anybody with any accent can have different laryngeal height. But it's something to keep in mind when you're coming up with a voice for your characters. Would you say moving the larynx higher or lower from its natural position creates some tension in the neck? I mean, by definition, in order to move it downwards, you have to be constricting some kind of muscles, but it shouldn't feel like you're straining. It shouldn't feel like you're suddenly going into Wallace and Gromit with a big golden neck.
Oh, crackers.
So it should be something that you can kind of just do without really feeling like you're putting too much tension onto it. How do you protect your throat when changing voices and such? A big important one is that question, yeah. A big part of it is aspiration, making your voice a little bit breathy, making sure that you're not too constricted with everything. So constriction, as the name implies, is the quality of the voice where your voice is where it feels like you're kind of tensing up the throat and everything's kind of constricted like this. And if you and that's literally you pressing the muscles around the voice, and you're constricting the voice, which is really bad for you to do for a long time. But if you're constricting while you're also kind of letting a little bit more of the air through, then you can kind of still get that quality of being constricted, but you're not actually doing it in the voice so much. It feels more constricted kind of in the diaphragm for me. You're still sort of you're holding back. I think about it as kind of like you've turned it up to about 80%, rather than all the way to 100. 100 is where you're gonna get problems with your voice. You're gonna get strain. You're gonna feel like you're unable to hold it for a long time. Also known as the voices Ben seems to gravitate towards. All right, mate. What's his Bob voice? Bob. Hello. Nailed it. There it is. So Bob's got constriction, but also growl. There's another type of the voice called growl, which is, as it sounds, that kind of gravelly kind of noise. And that gravelly noise is really bad for you again if you don't put a lot of breath in there as well. If you don't let breath through with it. Think about it like trying to, I don't know, maybe this visual helps, like trying to swallow a pill. If you swallow a pill without water, like some psychopaths do, it's going to be harder to swallow. But if you're letting the air through, or in this case the water, you can swallow the pill easier. And so like maybe that's a visual that helps for you. To think about whatever it is that you're trying to do, like constriction or growl or laryngeal height or whatever. Make sure you're also letting some air through as well to like the gravy on I don't know. I'm trying to use a bunch of different analogies instead. In case that works for you. A psychopath, that's a tough pill to swallow. So Ben, all right, I'm Bob. I'm gonna explode you from the inside out. I don't know how Ben doesn't hurt his voice, because he does not seem to do any vocal warm-ups before any sessions or green screens, and he seems to not be like putting any sort of aspirant through with the voice either. He just seems to go for it, and I guess he deals with it the next day. I don't know. Bob's voice is more of a throat and not a growl. More a throat. I don't know what you mean by a throat. Secretly, that's his real voice, and Ben's voice is a forced one. Yeah, maybe that's it. What's that? It's like the glopping. What the fuck are you talking about, Dasses? I bet Rob can also down a pint in 2 seconds flat if he can keep his throat open while pouring it down. I haven't practiced that ability, not in a while, but I used to be able to down a pint very quickly. I've never drunk alcohol, so it was always like a pint of water or something. But yeah, I did get to a point when I was younger where I trained myself to just be able to talk. Anyway, what were we talking about? So that's the different sounds of where the different sounds can be made. The roundness of the voice. What else it plays into accent? The sort of broadness of the tongue when it's hitting the different consonants. Let's say T, for instance. In English, we only really have the letter T to denote all the different T sounds, but in all the different words, like, I don't know, let's come up with some examples, like, off the top of my head, it's going to be difficult to come up with some examples. Star, and that, though, that, star, and that. Are they the same ones? I know that in, which Indian language is it? Is it Urdu? Punjabi? I can't remember now. Can't remember which of the Indian accents it is, Indian languages it is, but they have a bunch of different consonants, symbols, to denote the different T sounds, and some of them are made with like a really broad. What's the different types of different places on your tongue called? The blade. So there's the tip of your tongue, obviously. This, I think, is the blade of the tongue. And then there's another part for the bit at the back, and I can't remember. Maybe it's called the back. And whether or not you put the tip of your tongue to behind the teeth, or whether you put the tip of the tongue on the alveolar ridge, which is the bit that gets burnt when you eat something that's too hot, right behind the teeth. So whether you put your tip of the tongue on the alveolar ridge or on your teeth, or whether you use the blade of the tongue on the alveolar ridge or the teeth, those are 4 different ways to just create the letter T. Because all you're doing with the T sound, the t, is you're just momentarily stopping air flowing from out of your lungs into your mouth. It's building up a little bit of air, and then you're letting it go. And depending on where you do that, some of those can sound a little bit more like a d, letter. So in English, in Kiwi English, people say water and letter for water and letter, and that's another thing you need to take into account when you're studying accents. Butter, bother, butter, butter, butter. So butter, budda, that's kind of putting the tip of the tongue up against the alveolar ridge, and then like flattening the blade up against the roof as well. Butter, 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 but, t. And then for the but, the t sound would be but, doing the same thing, but then letting the air through the middle of it before you let it out the outsides of it. Butter, budda, duh. Because with a duh, the whole tongue comes loose, duh, and it lets all of the air out at once. But t allows just a little bit of air through the middle first, and then the blades, and then the sides of the tongue. So it's very very complicated, the amount of shit that happens in your mouth. You ever actually looked in the mirror when you're talking and just specifically looked at your tongue? You have a very clean T. There's a wee gap in the audio usually. I have a very clean T. What do you mean? What do you mean? How are my ventriloquist skills? I mean, I've never really practiced ventriloquism. Actually, I've never tried. A better bit of butter on your bread. What's a ventriloquist thing to say? I got a glug of gear. I drink and I got a gear. It's like playing the singles, that right? Ventriloquism is just sort of talking without moving your mouth, right? I'm not sure. I've never really done any ventriloquism. I've never tried ventriloquism at all, so I don't know. You tell me. How's my ventriloquism skills? Am I able to talk without moving my mouth too much? Obviously, the things that require plosives, like he's and ns and t's and t's and g's, it's a little bit harder to do. P and M are apparently pretty hard. Yeah, because you have to specifically close your lips in order to make them. In order to say anything with an in it or a he, you can't really say higher it. You can't really say higher it because you can't say the word he, the letter he. So very difficult. Pretty bloody good for a time. Well, thank you very much. I imagine it's easier on camera as well because maybe the camera's not picking up quite as much, or maybe it's harder. I don't know. I've never tried it. Never looked into it. I reckon if I had time to prepare, then I could probably write myself some dialogue that pirate. Yeah, pirate. I want a pirate ship. Pirate shit. I feel like if I had time to prepare, I could write something that doesn't have any M's or P's or whatever in it, and then I could do it like, what do you think? I think you're stupid, mate. I think you're stupid for saying the word stupid. Stupid. Anyway, what the fuck was I doing? What are the types of things do I need to listen out for? I'm just trying to give you guys a little bit of an insight as to what I'm listening for when I jump back into the Italian. So what else was I listening for? The vowel sounds, I think, is the first thing that I kind of subconsciously gravitate towards. Because if I can get the vowel sounds right, that means that I've placed the voice in the right place. I've got the tightness of the jaw and the front back motion of the tongue in the right place. And once that's in place, then you can kind of like put in the consonants on top of that, whether or not they're what's it called? Rhotic R's is a big one as well. Rhotic R is whether or not you pronounce the sort of rounded sound of an R. So what do you say, car? Or do you say car? Car has a rhotic R on the back of it. Do you just say car? Car is just a vowel. Car. You could hold it forever because it's not. There's no actual consonant sound on the end of car. Outrageous. Outrageous is a trilled R, which is slightly different again. Outrageous. If you actually put any sort of into your R, like a lot of Scottish does, that's a trilled R, which is kind of like a step even beyond rhotic R's. And it's actually why the South New Zealand accent, the ones from down south in Invercargill ways, where a lot of Scottish people settled, they have a lot more rhotic R's. Purple. we started with Italian, Marie, and then we got distracted, but we're going back to Italian soon. Crows don't have a rhotic R. I don't know what you mean by crows. Oh, like when crows are mimicking voices, they can't mimic R's. Is that what you mean? New Zealand, a dirty purple work shirt. Dirty purple work shirt. Americans, a lot of generic American accents have that rhotic R as well, car alarm. And then other accents, like my native accents, would also have a rhotic R, but only when you are linking two vowel sounds together in two different words. Like car alarm, it has that R sound to differentiate car and alarm. So there are some accents that would just be like car alarm, and just kind of blend them together. But a lot of people will... a lot of accents and dialects will put the rhotic R in where they wouldn't otherwise in order to differentiate the two words. Car alarm. Car and alarm and car alarm. Oh, you were just joking because crows go caw caw. Haha. I mean, a B for effort and like a C for delivery, Erwin. Please try to pronounce some Finnish tongue twisters. I absolutely will. I'm gonna focus on Italian though, and then I can go into some Finnish if you like.
Hey Rob.
Lot of the cookies. What up? How's it going? 14-month streak. All right. So we've got our vowel sounds and whereabouts in the mouth they are. We've got the consonants, the hard consonants, particularly like the plosives. Fricatives are like the sounds that you can the consonants that you can hold. So plosives are the reason for this pop guard, because they are sounds that are explosive. They are sounds that where you are holding the breath back and then you are letting it all loose. So that is P, B, T, D, G, P, T, G, and K sound, the K/C sound. So you've got your P-T-K and B-D-G, which are actually the same three sounds, but one of them is voiced and one of them is not voiced. So, for instance, P is the same sound as a B, but P. You can do that without turning on your vocal cords. P. If you put some voice into it, B. Same with T and D. In order to make that D sound, you kind of need to put the voice in there. T, D. And then G and K is without the voice, and G is with it. You've also got a few others as well that we don't tend to use in English, like the NG sound is technically a plosive as well. And we do use it in like sing and hunger and stuff like that, but we don't have a letter for it like they do in a lot of other languages.
Oh, a new adventurer joins the team.
Sup, Spades?
Spates gifted a tier 1 sub to Auntie_Mom. They have given 12 gift subs in the channel.
So, those are the plosives you got to listen out for. Then there's the fricatives. The fricatives are the consonants that just you can kind of hold them because they're just a sound. You're doing something with your mouth to disturb the flow of air out of it, and so it's making a sound like. The F sound is a fricative because it's just a disturbance of the air, and you can hold it for as long as you can hold your breath. The S sound is also a fricative, and those are unvoiced fricatives because again you can hold them without a voice on it. But if you put a voice to them, the F becomes a V. Which becomes a voiced fricative, and then the S becomes a Z. Another voiced fricative. Sh is another voiced fricative, sh, which we don't have a letter for, but obviously most of the time we represent it with an SH or a TI. Sh sound, elevation. And if you put a voice to that, we definitely don't have a symbol for this, but is usually symbolized by the kind of the fancy Z, you know, the one that kind of looks like a letter 3, number 3. The zh, edge. The name of this sound is called an edge, and it is in words like Asia and pleasure and azure and treasure. It's the one that King Lord Sir Conrow has trouble with. The pleasure of your treasure is without measure. That's an sh sound, and it's the voiced version of the sh. So there's a fricatives, there's a plosives. What else we got? Plosives, fricatives. Then you've got L. L is another one for listening out for when you're doing accent work, because there are two different types of L. Well, it's probably more, but the two main types are called light L's and dark L's. And usually in English, it's whether or not it's at the beginning of a word or not. So the word light has that light L. It is very much a defined L sound. La 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 la. I didn't know that pleasure is different from shoe. Pleasure. Because you don't say pleasure and you don't say jus. You say pleasure and shoe. One of them is voiced, pleasure, and the other one is not voiced, shoe. Another example of the voiced unvoiced is the th sound. In the words like there uses a voiced th, but in the word not the, because the also uses voiced. Both uses an unvoiced th, both, and there uses a voiced th. But we just use the same symbols for them, th usually. What was I talking about? L. So L has that light L, but then if it's usually a double L or in the middle of a word, like ball, it's got that l sound. L. You don't say it light, or some accents do, which is why it's important to listen out for. Because light, if you say light using a dark L, which is where you're using the back of your tongue up against the roof of the mouth, rather than the tip of your tongue up against the alveolar ridge, light, then that can be a big indication as to how to jump into that language, how to swap from your language to their language, or that your accent to their accents. So when you're listening out for accents, when you try an accent work, you got to listen to how you say those words, what particular type of L that you use, and then listen to what type of L they use, and then try and remember to switch it when you're trying to do the thing, when you're trying to speak in it. English has a lot of different sounding words with the same symbols, letters, like read and red. Yep, and red. Why say many word when few do trick? L sounds are one of the last that kids get as they learn to process language. Yeah, and they can be mistaken for R sounds as well, because it's harder to see from outside. A lot of our ability to learn languages and how to speak comes from watching people and seeing how the mouth is being produced, how the mouth is being held when the voice is being produced. And L's and W's and R's, that's why, like Jonathan Ross, when he doesn't really say his R's, was. Because the R sound is made kind of with the curl at the back of the tongue, with the mouth kind of rounded, which from the beginning, r and oo, kind of look the same. Wassy, old Wassy and Rossi. You're not really able to see that the tongue is doing something in the back, and it's similar to the L, the l, and all, ball. And then, of course, you get different languages, not even talking about dialects or accents anymore, but now we talk about different languages. And in some languages where they don't have equivalent letters, like a lot of, say, Japanese and Chinese languages, for instance, they don't really have the letters for L's and R's. So that then when they do speak in English and they have to use those L's and R's, that's why they get a lot of those things muddled up or combined into one. And that's where the sort of stereotypes come from, the fried lice, because instead of fried rice, because they don't have those in their own language. So that's another thing you can listen out for when you're doing accent work, is thinking, if you really want to do the homework, you look into the native tongue of the people who speak in that accent, and you look at their alphabet, for want of a better word. Look at what sounds that they make in their native language. And that'll give you some insight into why it is that certain sounds are difficult for them. When we teach phonetics on new vocab, we have to take off our masks to show mouth shapes. Absolutely impossible otherwise. Yeah, for sure. Find it funny that in English speakers make the R like an L. In other languages, you actually make a gurgling sound. A gurgling. I don't know what you mean by a gurgling sound. Like for the R sound? Robot. Yeah, like is that what you mean? The R sound, like in French? The French R's. Instead of making it a rhotic one, it's at the back of the throat. It's made with the back of the tongue. Robert. When I was growing up, I had French friends, or Swiss French anyway, and they would call me Robert, with this sort of gargling Robert. Same in German. 1, 2, 3, 3. Yeah, rather than 1, 2, 3. All right. So there you go. You've got a little bit of insight, a couple of different things as to what I'm looking for. Not an erotic R, erotic R. I thought with the LR sound in Asia it was the other way around. They struggle with lice but not with rice. They struggle with lice. Special fry rice. Special fly lice. No, I've definitely heard fried lice rather than fried rice. Robert Artle. Yeah. Robbie in Spanish as well, I think, because lived with a Portuguese girl for a while, and she would call me Robbie, ay, tonto. All right. What were we doing? Japan has R's but no L's. Oh, cool. The L technically doesn't exist in Asian languages, but the R does. Interesting. Same as the Spanish roll of the R. Robe. Yeah. Sarah Robson says, this information to maybe practice with and come back to. Could you put this VOD on your YouTube on Patreon, please? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I'll see if it makes entertaining content. The Finnish R is quite the same as the Scottish one. The robe, the right at the front of the mouth, and easy to roll because it's the tip, and the tip of the tongue is easy to flap around in the mouth, round, because it's right at the front of the tongue. You can drill it against the front of your mouth. So you've got some insights there into what it is that I'm listening for. Now let's go back to Italian and I'll see if I can point out any of those things.
When she got there was a woman with a goose waiting for her.
Woman with a goose. So you can hear with that goose, instead of goose, you can hear that there's a goo, which immediately pushes it right forward in the mouth and rounds the lips. Goose. If you try and produce that same sound, goose, it immediately pulls the voice right forward. Goose. There was a woman with a goose. I tried to get a Japanese person to say squirrel and have fun. My friends used to test the English teachers there with that one. Squirrel. Man, that is a tough word, isn't it? Squirrel. I'll have to get my friend to put his wife on the call next time I call him. He's married to a Japanese girl and living in Japan. Sometimes I like and just do a weird voice, which I doubt would be classed as an accent. I mean, why not?
The woman gave Sarah an official letter from the...
Letter. So the T there, letter. You can hear the very short, sharp plosive, letter. So he hasn't blended it into like a letter, and just like kind of softened that T sound. It's quite a hard one. So that's the sort of thing I'm listening for. Letter. The
vet. The letter implied that the animal could be suffering from...
Animal. So that was kind of halfway between the light and dark L at the end of animal. The animal.
Official letter from the vet. The letter implied that the animal could be suffering from a rare form of foot and mouth.
Rare. Definitely rhotic there. You can hear that rare, very, very strong
Mouth disease, which was surprising because normally you would only...
Normally. You can hear that rounding of the R in the middle of normally.
Expect to see it in a dog or a goat.
Dog or a goat.
Sarah was sentimental, so this made her feel sorry for the beautiful bird. Before long, that itchy goose began to strut around the office like a lunatic, which made an unsanitary mess.
Unsanitary
The goose owner, Mary Harrison, kept calling, "Come on," which Sarah thought was an odd choice for
odd choice for a name. Some TV personality made a joke that German spies in World War II could be detected by having themselves squirrel. I tried that once with a fellow student from the US. She always said that I said it wrong, like I spoke a W and that wasn't there. Squirrel. That W? Squirrel. Find Aucklanders have a slightly different dialect to the rest of New Zealand, especially younger people, a lot of American influence. Yes, yeah, 100%. There's one of the myths, I guess, about accents is that New Zealanders have one accent. We do not. New Zealanders have a lot of different accents. There's an Auckland accent. There's an Invercargill accent for sure. There's kind of like a rural New Zealander, kind of like country calendar kind of type. And then there's like a real urbanite that's got a lot of Maori influence. And then, of course, there is Maori and Samoan and Tongan and stuff, which are all New Zealand accents as well.
a name. Kama was strong and huge, so it would take some force to trap her. But Sarah had a different idea. First, she tried gently stroking the ghost's lower back with her palm. Then,
another small one, whether or not they pronounce the L in words like calm and calm. Calm emotions. That's a very American thing to do, to pronounce the L. I tried to calm him with the palm of my hand.
Singing and tune to her. Finally, she administrated either. Her efforts were not futile. In no time, the goose began to tire, so Sarah was able to hold on, and give her a relaxing bath. Once Sarah has managed to bathe the goose, she wiped her off with a cloth and laid her on her right side. Then Sarah confirmed the vet's diagnosis. Almost immediately, she remembered an effective treatment that required her to measure.
Required her. So lots of rhotic, front of the mouth, rhotic R's, quite sharp T's, which required her to measure out a lot of treatment. Sarah warned that the course of this treatment might be expensive, either 5 or 6 times the cost of penicillin, which Sarah thought. So what I'm doing now is because I happen to know the text, I've listened to this text 1,000 times. I'm pausing, I'm continuing trying to predict what it would sound like. I've got a pretty good ear just from practice as to when something doesn't sound like I got tripped on the word thought, which Sarah thought, and I couldn't tell whether it would be thought or thought. So then I stop and I listen back and I see if what my prediction is correct or not.
Out a lot of medicine. Sarah warned that this course of treatment might be expensive, either 5 or 6 times the cost of penicillin. I can't imagine paying so much, but Mrs. Harrison, a millionaire lawyer, thought it was a fair price for a cure. It was a fair price for a cure.
Fair price for a cure.
I'm from Italy. I was born in Treviso.
Another good thing about this website is that it gives you that dialect, that dialogue, and then it also just includes some of them just monologuing, just talking, because a lot of people have a reading voice that isn't really representative of their speaking voice. You can hear it in this guy. Immediately he changes his dialect. Not immediately, not incredibly. He's not suddenly French now. But there is a definite distinction between him reading and him speaking.
The cost of penicillin. I can't imagine paying so much, but Mrs. Harrison, a millionaire lawyer, thought it was a fair price for a cure. I'm from Italy. I was born in Treviso.
It's a lot more casual. I was born in Treviso, close to Venice, and
I made the university in Bologna. I made degrees in literature with a specialization in theater.
Theater. So there you go. Look, there was another one there. Theater. So he didn't say the th as a th. He said it as a theater. And the t in the second t in the theater came with the broad side of his tongue, the blade of his tongue came up against the alveolar ridge. Theater. Everything I know about New Zealand's from that Black Sheep film, and they wasted $40 million on a new flag election that voted the current flag is okay. Yeah. Yes. But that was the previous government, thankfully. Theater in as many aspects that I can try to reach.
And
I can speak for whatever I want.
Now I'm in
Latvia
for international festival.
And
theater. A very good experience. I'm meeting a lot of interesting people, and one is in front of me, but you can't see that because it's just audio recording. And here the sun never goes down. You know, it's very funny. It's at midnight there is still light.
But there is still light.
Not at midnight, but
so at midnight there is still. So in my Italian accent now, if I was to properly try to do a volo Tamp Gerdon, Volo's Guide to Monsters, it might be a little more like this and a lot less with the hand. How does it compare to Italian accent from the south, or like the islands like Sicily and Corsica, Sardinia? That is a good question, and of course, if you want to practice those southern Italian things, you have how do you say this number? 25 people to choose from. You could try and find somebody who is from, say, Sardinia or one of Sicily. Sicily is one of the ones you said, so maybe you would pick this one. And then you would listen to the one from Sicily.
This recording, Italy 12.
Veterinary nurse who have been working daily and also deserted.
It's funny though that once you practice, once you get in the headspace of it, I could immediately tell before like even seeing, obviously I did see that his age was 55, but if you hadn't shown me his age, I would say this is an older guy. There's things that you can pick up on from the voice to be like, that's an older guy.
In a deserted district of the territory. So she was very happy to start a new job and a new superb private practice in North Square.
I would say he's got some American influence as well.
Tower. The area was very much near
for her. He's got an American. I'd say he's definitely American. I'm not going to look at it. I bet he's got American. I'm going to listen to it again.
Or to her liking. Even so, in the first morning,
I bet he was taught English by an American. I bet it says that in his dialogue somewhere.
She felt stressed.
Felt stressed. He's got that. What does it sound like? What is the stressed? American stressed. So what is it? He's not got the rounded mouth. That's it. The round. She felt stressed. She felt stressed. Stressed. He's widening the mouth when he speaks.
She ate a bowl of porridge, checked herself in a mirror, and washed her face with a.
Yeah. Let me have a look. Where is it? Place of birth, Italy. Area of residence outside of the representative region. Raised in Italy, but by the age of 17 moved to North Beach in San Francisco. Called it Little Italy. Immersed in other Italians from different places, blend English together and form the community. Subject speaks semi-standard version of an Italian accent. Yeah, American Italian. So if you were wanting an American Italian, not an Italian American. If you want an Americanized Italian, you'd listen to that and go, oh, perfect. But if you don't, you'd go, oh, in case that's not quite representative enough, let me go down to the newest edition, 26-year-old male. Let's have a look. Spent about 8 years prior to this interview in places other than Treviso, where he grew up. He has lived in London, Oxford, Calgary, Lexington, Oxford, and Italy, Milan. So let's see how it's influenced his speech.
This record.
Duke District Tower. That area was much nearer for her, more to her liking. Even so, on the first morning, she felt stressed. She ate a bowl of porridge.
So this guy, unlike the last one, does not have sharp T's. He said he felt stressed. He just ignored the T on the end of felt, and he kind of breezed past it in the word stressed as well. He felt stressed. Herself
in the mirror and washed her face in a hurry. Then she put on a plain yellow...
Put. He had a very forward U there for put. Put on a...
yellow dress and a fleece jacket, picked up her kit and headed for work.
Picked up her kit. So at the end of kit, he had a very sharp T. Kit.
When she got there was a woman with a goose waiting for her. The woman gave Sarah an official letter from the vet.
Letter from the vet. That also is something I didn't mention before. Musicality of the voice, tonality, whether you're going up and down or when you speak. It's another thing to listen out for.
The letter implied that the animal could be suffering from a rare form of
foot and mouth disease, which was surprising. Normally, you would only expect to see it in a dog or a goat.
Sarah was sentimental, so this made her feel very sorry for the beautiful bird.
So I feel like I could do Italian a little better now. It requires practice, obviously, so I'd have to practice it. Do I have Italian as any of my? I don't think I have Italian as any of my languages that I go to for my creatures, my monsters or people in my world. Italian. What sort of monsters or playable races would be Italian? Italian. Well, it's forward in the mouth and quite musical. Put on a plain yellow dress and a fleece jacket. Picked up her kit and headed for work. I feel like it's really easy to go into Eastern European though. Vampires. They have to be Transylvanian, of course. Flying spaghetti monster. Bads. If you spoke Italian in your world or the Azurim game like you spoke it with the Volo. Satyrs. Ooh, satyrs could be cool. Satyrs speak Sylvan as their native tongue though, so I feel like they should be French because Sylvan's French. But then again, that's an entire race of Fae that would all be French. So yeah, maybe I do need to make them. The Satyrs. They speak in Italian, and they get out of the panpipes. I'm starting to go back into stereotype with the extra vowels in between. Satyrs, speaking in Italian. What brings you to the Feywild? What brings you to the Feywild? You are beautiful, yeah? It is beautiful here. You want to hear some music? is that underhanded way of saying French are fairies? Other entries for Swiss Italian. Ooh, let's see. I bet that would be under Switzerland, not Italy. So let's go down to Switzerland. Swiss Italian. There you go. Look, the very first one on the list is Swiss Italian.
The division of white light into many beautiful colors. These take the shape of a long round arch, with its path high above, and its two ends apparently beyond the horizon. There is, according to legend, a boiling...
This is one of the really early ones. Before they wrote the comma gets a cure, about the goose getting a cure. This is the script that they made them all read about a pot of gold at the end of a rainbow.
Pot of gold at one end. People look, but no one ever finds it. When a man looks for something beyond his reach, his friends say he is looking for the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. I was born in Basel.
Basel. Are there entries for Romansh or Romansh in the Swiss part? Let's see. There are 24 entries. I don't see the word Romansh anywhere. So maybe no. Unless it's from one of these areas, if like people from whatever are Romansh. Is the sentence stress intonation called prosody? That does ring a bell. I'm not sure exactly, but I think that might be right. Rob, Welsh. All right, let's do some Welsh. Wales. Let's see if we can practice my Welsh accent. Oh, dragon, is it? Oh, want a cup of tea, Ivor? Psht, 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 psht. Bum 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 bum. Please try Dutch so I can stop using German for the Goliaths. I don't use German for the Goliaths. I use oh, you mean accent? Sorry, I thought you were talking about the dialogue, the script. When I'm using Goliath, I do write it in Dutch language, but then I don't know how to do Dutch accent, so I do German. Try African or Middle Eastern. African, just like one African. Just try the one African accent for the 50 different African countries that there are. We're going Welsh first. You've got to make your ideas when I'm finished and wanting to move on to the next one.
This recording, Comma Gets a Cure, is copyright Doug Fella and Barbara Somerville.
Well, here's a story for you. Sarah Perry was a veterinary nurse who had been working daily at an old zoo in a deserted district of the territory, so she was very happy to start a new job at superb private practice in North Square near the Duke Street Tower. That area was much nearer for her and more to her liking.
She didn't have a rhotic R on tower, she just went tower. More to her liking.
Even so, on her first...
Even so. That was a very northern so. That was British English. Even so.
This morning she felt stressed. She ate a...
Hey, Manchester, there you go. I told you it was a Northern England thing, Manchester. Toronto. I didn't pick up on any Canadian though. 6 years in Toronto. How old is she? 36. 3 years, 10 years, 6 years, 2 years. Essex. Got some Essex in her. Back to Toronto where she lived at the time of recording. You can hear the influence of Manchester in her speech. Fuck, I'm good. Jeez. Are you all humbled to be in my presence? My roommate from the uni spoke Belgian, half of Belgia speak funny French, the other half speak funny Dutch. The most modest of anyone who ever modested.
Bowl of porridge, checked herself in the mirror and watched her face in a hurry. Then she put on a plain yellow dress and a fleece jacket.
Jacket, you could hear the Welsh in that. Put on a plain yellow dress and a fleece jacket. Fleece jacket.
Picked up her kit and headed for work. Work sounded Mancunian. When she got there was a woman with a goose waiting for her.
Yeah, this one's not a good Welsh representation because of the mank. Berserk Gorilla, what up? How's it going? You want to hear Swiss accents? There's a lot of different types of Swiss accent. Which one do you want to hear?
This recording, Wales 6.
Sarah Perry was a veterinary nurse who had been working daily at an old zoo in a deserted district of the territory. So she was very happy to start a new job at a superb private practice in North Square near the Duke Street Tower.
Tower. Like the last lady didn't have a rhotic R on tower. Welsh is one of the most musical languages. It's jumpy and bouncy and flowery. Welsh. Tower. Near the Duke Street Tower. In the middle of a word, they'll just bounce. Tower. Another thing that I didn't mention before as well, when we were talking about the different things that I'm listening out for, is the difference between monophthongs and diphthongs, and even triphthongs, but they're much rarer. Whether a word is a single vowel sound, or whether people make it into two vowels. Adria used to hate it, now I love it. What? Welsh? Whale. Whale. So whale, the animal whale, would be two vowels in Welsh. Whale. Whale. Because they've got that diphthong of whale. Eel. Ale. Ale. Actually, most languages would have whale as being a diphthong. Whale. 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 It went whaling. Whale.
That area was much nearer for her and more to her liking.
Casually when they're speaking, do I listen? I do if it's like novel. Like I don't pick up on like New Zealand and stuff. When I'm out and about in New Zealand, it doesn't really pick up on it until I hear someone European usually. If I hear someone European or sometimes American, I will listen out to sort of test myself and be like, can I place where they are before they've finished taking my order? Like the waiter at the table, they're like, and what can I get for you? And I'll be like, where's that guy from? I'll be like, Italian, put it to the front. He'll be like, so the specials today are the fish of the day, and the fish is and we are all out of the bread for the so-and-so meal. And I'll be listening and going, quick, can I place it before I get to the end of the day? Quick, let's order something else so that I get more data to work from. Try a New Zealand accent. I've got the feeling it will suit you. I'm self-conscious about New Zealand because I'm not. I don't know. Don't feel like I'm good at it. No worries, Berserk. See you later. You know who has the triphthongs? No, I don't. I can't think of an example of a triphthong, but I know that they exist. People who make a single vowel sound into three different vowels. They sort of bounce.
Even so, on her first morning, she felt stressed.
On her first morning, she felt stressed.
A bowl of porridge, checked herself in the mirror, and washed her face in a hurry.
Checked herself in the mirror and washed her face in a hurry.
Then she put on plain yellow dress and fleece jacket.
Fleece jacket. You can see that you can hear with the Wales. This is a perfect example of a really open-mouthed accent. Jacket. They really drop that A on drop the jaw on the A. The jacket. In New Zealand, that'd be jacket. It'd be like j, not ja. Aussies have triphthongs, even in the word no. Australia, no, mate, no. I'm not sure how that would be. New Zealand folk blend in well. We generally lose our accent fairly quickly dependent on our surroundings. Am I self-conscious of my New Zealand accent? I certainly didn't know that, says Ajo. Certainly never redeemed a New Zealand accent before. To be a bloody troll.
Picked up her kit and headed for work. When she got there was a woman with a goose waiting for her.
Woman with a goose waiting for her. The woman gave Sarah an official letter from the vet. Letter from the vet. You heard how I predicted it by like pulling out the E of the letter. There's just like it's just kind of a moment of like when you go in a car and you're going over a speed bump and there's that ooh. With Welsh it's just letter. You hit the first part of the word letter and then it hits on the bottom. Woman gave Sarah an official letter from the vet.
The letter implied that the animal could be suffering from a rare form of foot and mouth disease, which was surprising because normally you would only expect to see it in a dog or goat.
Goat. That sounded like goat. Why, mate, that was Geordie. Goat. Middlesex. Middlesex? No, what's it called? Macklemore. Middlesbrough. Dog or a goat?
Sarah was sentimental, so this...
Sentimental. There you go, as your bounces. Sarah was sentimental. Sentimental. It's like I've been in a car that goes bump, bump, bump over 3 of those bumps. Middle Earth, yeah. Goat.
Made her feel sorry for the beautiful bird. Before long, that itchy goose began to strut around the office like a
Office. Bounce. Office, like a lunatic,
which made an unsanitary mess.
Alright, that's enough Welsh. I know Welsh. I feel confident when I put on a Welsh accent. I feel like I'm confident when I'm doing Welsh. It's one of the accents that I can just sort of turn on and off again relatively easily. It's one of the reasons that I chose it for my Elvish, because I knew that Elvish would come up quite often in a game, and so I had to try and make sure it was a language that I could jump into relatively quickly. Romanian, Czech, Finnish, Swiss German, Finnish, Israeli. Oh, I've not been required to do that one before. Itchy goose. Every one of us has to read that text and record it for Rob now. Yeah. Miyazaki's Castle in the Sky movie was inspired by Welsh mining towns, was it? Try German. South African bra. Or South African bra. Actually, I do want to do South African. I haven't done South African in a while, and it would be interesting to see if I can actually do it. So do it justice. Let's see if I can try some South African, eh? South Africa. South African female from Johannesburg. Man, there's 53 South African entries. Holy shit. South African accent. Let's go down to the most recent one. That wasn't right. Most recent one. South African, most recent one. How would you say most recent one in South African? South African. My South African is slipping. Go down to the most recent one. So there you go. This is an example in real time of I am not sure how the O sound of most would be pronounced, and so when I look up this one, I would be listening out for the O sound in goat, for instance, dog and a goat. Most. What's up, Christina? How's it going? All right, so let's pick one that is not too dissimilar to myself. I'm looking, because there's so many to choose from. I can pick and choose. Obviously, there's a lot of difference between Black South African and White South African because of the difference in influence from their language. Their native language is most likely different. Like Xhosa, for instance, it's going to have a lot of a difference to White with English and Scottish ancestry. Let's look for... I was ideally looking for someone around my age, but let's just go for the most recent one and see what that sounds like. South African.
This recording, South Africa 53.
So let's have a listen. The subject lived in different parts of South Africa in the early adulthood, lived in the United Kingdom in the Bristol area for 10 years, so he might have a slight Bristol influence to his accent. His mother was Scottish and his father's English, so there's a very good chance that he does have some sort of British influence to this.
Is copyright the International Dialects of English Archive. Comma gets a cure. Is copyright Douglas N. Honorath, Jill McCullough.
Isn't Cosa said with a click? Yeah, I don't know how to speak the Cosan.
Well, here's a story for you. Sarah Perry was a veterinary nurse who had been working daily at an old zoo in a deserted district of the territory. So she was very happy to start a new job at a superb private practice.
Private. So the easiest difference to lock onto to try and get into South African is the I sounds. My and I and private practice. And it's, not ironically I suppose, but it's also the sound that gave me the most trouble when I was practicing my rural New Zealander for a play once. I had a line in the play that was like talking, it was reminiscing. I was giving a speech at a wedding and I had to say, Clive and I were privates together. And so I've got Clive and I were privates together, the same 3 words, and I was struggling with getting the sound right. Clive and I were privates together in the army. Salt of the earth bloke. Clive and I were privates together. South African. In a superb private practice.
In North Square near Duke Street Tower. That area was much nearer for her and more to her liking. Even so, on her first morning she felt stressed. She ate a bowl of porridge, checked herself in the mirror, and washed her face in a hurry.
Washed her face in a hurry. Very well spoken English, that line. Washed her face in a hurry. No, I haven't played England 81 yet.
Then she put on a plain yellow dress.
Plain yellow dress.
And a fleece jacket.
Fleece jacket.
Picked up her kit and headed for work. When she got there, there was a woman with a goose waiting.
Woman with a goose waiting for her. The woman gave Sarah. What's it going to be? Sarah. The woman gave Sarah. I think it's going to be forward and tight for Sarah.
Waiting for her. The woman gave Sarah
Sarah, not quite as far as I thought. Sarah. The woman gave Sarah an official letter from the vet.
Official letter from the vet. The letter implied that...
Implied, there's that I sound again. The letter implied that
the animal could be suffering from a rare form...
Rare. No rhotic R at the end. Rare. It's wide lips, back of the mouth. Yes. Wide lips, back of the mouth. So I'd disagree. I think it's at the front of the mouth. Definitely wide lips. Wide lips. Yeah, it's definitely at the front of the mouth, because that's a difference, Tim, between the vowel sound, the diphthong there. This is a perfect example of the diphthong I was talking about before. The I sound, I is actually two sounds. I. And you put them together. I. And in my vocabulary, in my dialect, it would be which is wide open mouth, tongue down at the back of the mouth. And then you pull the tongue up and forwards, which pushes the sound from the back and down up to the front and forward. I think it will be useful actually for me to show you the vowel chart, because I can picture this when I'm talking and you guys maybe can't. This is what I'm talking about. This is the mouth. So if you imagine down here is the bottom. Actually, you can't see very well. Let's see if I can get a bit bigger example of that. The vowel diagram. Thank you, Wikipedia. So if you think about this as being the bottom teeth and this as being the top teeth, so like somebody with a really big goofy overbite maybe. Bottom teeth, top teeth, back of the mouth up in the sort of soft palate at the way the back of the mouth, where the nasal cavity reaches, and this is down way back near the throat. So that's kind of, we're looking side on at this mouth, right? So the ah is this one, I. So the I sound, the diphthong of I, is from this sound to this sound in my dialect. I. I've got my mouth way open and my tongue pulled all the way back. I. And then in South African, I. It's more my private. It's more up here. I'd say like here-ish. I. It still ends on the E. I. You're pushing the tongue forwards. The tongue is coming up and forwards. Am I doing this the right way around? Yeah. It's coming from the back and it's pushing up. No, I'm doing it the wrong way around, aren't I? Yeah, this way. It's pushing up like this and pushing the sound with it to up in this top corner here, this E sound. I. But it's starting further up and further forwards. Is this making any sense to anybody? South African. So I would say I, and a South African would say I. Clive and I. South African. Clive and I were privates. Privates. Very important chat to learn if you are actually getting serious into dialect, and to learn what all of these sounds mean. So pan, pa, that's down the front here. Pa, pan, pen, pin, peen. So all at the front, if your tongue is right at the front of the mouth and your mouth is open, you're going to be making this sound. If your tongue's at the front of your mouth but your mouth is quite closed, you're going to be making this sound. So E, 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 I, E, I. And then if your tongue's quite high in the mouth but the sound is at the back, so your jaw is tight maybe, and you've got at the back you've got ooh, ooh, ooh. And that's with the rounded sound. If you're making an ooh sound, I think the ooh sound is this one. But it also comes sort of part and parcel with the rounded lips. Ooh. You don't have to round your lips. Ooh. It's just that no sound in English really makes the ooh sound without the rounded lips. Ooh. And then the oh, 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 oh. The tongues come back in the mouth, but the mouth is quite closed. Oh, oh, oh. That's up here. Put, foot, gut, hut. And then the sound is right at the back of the mouth. We've got the mouth open and letting a lot of sound right all the way to the back. But we're like only halfway open, but the tongue is down. Is this making sense? Hopefully this is making sense. I'm not a voice teacher. I've never trained in voice teaching. I have just been trained by a very good voice teacher, Darcy Smith, a Canadian-American dude. He came over to New Zealand and taught me at Toifakari for a year. Very, very good at his job, and so I found it fascinating. I learned a lot in the year that he was teaching us, and I have used it ever since as an actor. Brains and mouths. Sus. So this is a vowel sound, vowel chart. So when I'm saying that New Zealanders have a tight jaw, usually, and that's why the A's become E's and E's becomes I's and stuff, it's literally this chart. With a wide open jaw, your A sound, your pan sound is made by this one. But with a slightly tighter jaw, your A sound is now made here. And then your E sound, your E sound, is made up here. And then the I sound, which is this one, is now made up here. And so pan becomes pen, becomes pin, becomes pin, pin becomes peen, peen, E. The E sound is this one up here. Hopefully this is interesting to anyone. I know that I'm repeating myself a lot, but I enjoy it.
Of foot and mouth disease, which was surprising because normally you would only expect to see it in a dog or a goat. Sarah was sent.
So what was I struggling with? I was saying most. Dog or a goat. Goat. Most of the time. The newest most one. I can't remember what I was trying to say. That the most recent one. New Zealand's can't be called slack-jawed yokels then. No, New Zealand's tight-jawed yokels. Is there? I've never thought about that. Is there truth to the slack-jawed yokel, like a southern drawl kind of thing, like a slack-jawed yokel? Is it because I do have quite a slack jaw? I think it is, yeah, because the jaw, that is a low sound in the mouth. How does a slack-jawed yokel say cheese? Yeah, because if you think about that, obviously I'm exaggerating there, but if I was a slack-jawed yokel and I was saying cheese, I'm not really saying e. I'm not going up here to this e sound. I'm only ever going as far as the e. So that is quite. It's the opposite of New Zealand. Cheese becomes cheese becomes cheese. How does a slack-jawed yokel say pin? Like if you're saying a pin in the hat, like a hat pin or a sewing pin. It doesn't quite become pen, so it's not quite dropping from here all the way to here. But it becomes somewhere around in the middle. Pen. Like a needle. I want a pen. And then if you do want a pen, a writing implement, slack-jawed, hello, I'm sudden, I'm slack-jawed, and I want a pen. A pan. Yeah, it does. I've never thought about this. But slack-jawed yokels literally is because all of the vowel sounds are coming down in the chart. So pin becomes almost like pan. So then how do they say pan? There's nothing lower than that. How do they get even lower? Pin and pen are identical in that accent, so they've got a merged lexical set. Look at me, look at me, Luke. And a frying pan. Do we want to go into lexical sets as well now? Talk about lexical sets. So hot and dog are two different words in two different lexical sets. So each of these, this is going to be a big topic. Do I really want to get into this? Yeah, why not? It's an accent stream. All words in the English language can be put into the different vowel sounds, I should say, in all words in the English language can be put into lexical sets, a set of words that all use the exact same vowel sound, regardless of accent. That's the important part. A lot of accents will merge many of those lexical sets into one set. So hot and dog is a perfect example of it. You brought it up. Actually, I didn't bring it up. Tara did, because they said that Tara said that pen and pin are the exact same in that language, even though they are from different lexical sets. So I thought about that and I was like, should I go into it? And I will, because I'm here now. So hot and dog are from two different lexical sets because there are accents in which they are pronounced differently. Hot dog, for instance. But in my accent, my native accents, hot dog, hot, they're the exact same sound, hot dog. And so that's what's called a merged lexical set. So it's something you need to be aware of. Thought can sometimes be put into that same lexical set. Thought. Hot dog thought. The hot dog thought something can actually just be the exact same vowel sounds for some people. But they're not. I don't want to go into it too much. But each of those lexical sets has an identifier word that kind of talks about that particular vowel sound set, like fleece. The E sound in fleece. Fleece is the header word for all sounds that sound the same. Kit is another one. Kit, all of the I sounds that come from the word kit are always the same. All of the words that fall into that lexical set are always pronounced the same way, consistently in any particular language. So you in any particular dialect. So you find out how that dialect says any one of those words, and now you can pronounce all of those words. Does this make sense? So that's why Comma Gets a Cure, this script that we've been listening to, that's why it was written this way, because it took all of the words that is the header word for all of these different lexical sets, and it stuck them all into the script. So that if you need an E sounding word that is in the same lexical set as the word fleece, you just need to get to the part of Comma Gets a Cure where they say the word fleece. She put on a fleece jacket and picked up her kit and headed for work. Americans saying can and can't almost identically. Yeah, that one's always a bit of a pain. You're like, I can't do it. You can do it or you can't do it. I can't do it. You can do it. No, I can't do it. You can do it. No, why are you saying I can do it? I can't do it. You can't do it. You can't do it. This is one thing where Finnish is easier, I think. There's no pronunciation, so to speak, in Finnish, no phones. Everything's pronounced always in the same way, except kingot. No, cane. I can do it. I can't.
So this made her feel sorry for the beautiful bird.
Beautiful bird. All right, let's have a listen to another South African. He had quite a lot of English in him, so let's find a little bit more. White Napier from Western Cape. All right, let's listen to this guy. Much older fella, 80s.
This recording.
Deserted district of the territory. So she was very happy to start a new job at a superb private practice in North Square near the Duke Street Tower.
Is he part of the British royal family? He's not South African. In the North Square near the Duke Street Tower. He and his second wife spent a year in Taiwan teaching English, as travelled to other countries for shorter stays. in order to master English, he was sent to Cape Town for his secondary school education. Shit, I'm surprised that this guy hasn't, like, spent most of his life in Oxford.
That area was much nearer for her and more to her liking.
More to her liking?
Even so,
Even so, I'm from South Africa. Even so.
The first morning, she felt stressed.
Felt stressed? I would never in a million years guess that this guy was South African if you'd have played me without knowing.
Ate a bowl of porridge, checked herself in the mirror, and washed her face in a hurry. Then she put on a plain yellow dress and a fleece jacket, picked up a kit, and headed for work. When she got there, there was a woman with a goose waiting for her. The woman gave Sarah an official letter from the vet.
Pure.
The letter implied that...
Implied. It doesn't even have that really stereotypical I sound of South Africa. I, implied. It sounds like a radio recording from the war. It certainly does. This is really... I love these sorts of things because it helps you to know. It helps you to feel more confident that there is no one South African accent. There is no one Welsh accent. There is no one French accent. So the thing that is actually most important that a lot of people don't realise about an accent is consistency. Everybody, especially today with how easy it is to travel, how easy it is to find and marry somebody from a completely different culture, have kids with them, raise kids in a completely different culture again, like a third culture, that there's a lot of melting pot of accents and cultures and things like that. So nobody can really point to an accent as being wrong per se. This guy was born and raised in South Africa and has lived in South Africa his entire life and sounds like somebody from Oxford in the wartime. And so it's a little more, I don't know, I find it at least more what's the word, encouraging to be like, as long as you have a consistent accent, as long as you're that's the thing that makes something sound weird. If you've said the word thought in one particular vowel sound in one moment, and then you say the word thought with a different one the next sentence over, that's when people will notice and be like, this isn't Israel accent. So find the consistency in your accent. Do your best to obviously get as close to the proper accent as you can, but then let it go at some point and just be like, this is good enough, this is fine. Not 100% feeling the same about Finnish. Double consonants, for example, seem to be surprisingly hard for a lot of foreigners. I'll get to Finnish in a second, I swear. I guess his English teacher was from Oxford. Maybe I had a touch of the echolalia to him. What's echolalia? Echolalia. It's related to how people in the past moved around the world. Colonies were all trained out of the accents. That's certainly true as well. Yeah, lots of English example. Something that gets on our tits for our examples in our textbooks explaining how to pronounce things. We tested them. It sounds like Cockney. I shit you not. So we don't use them. We explain the different accents. All right, mate. So you should pronounce the words like this. Try and just drop all the T's at the end of words and that. All right, I think we've now one more example of South African. I feel like we haven't got a really good representative of like the one that the thick South African that people think of.
This recording, South Africa 41,
remained in Cape Town
ever
since.
The international.
It's secure. Well, here's a story for you. Sarah Perry was a veterinary nurse who had been working daily at an old zoo.
Daily.
In a deserted district of the territory. So she was very happy to start a new job at a superb private practice in North Square near Duke Street Tower.
Tower. So this one's quite muted as well. Not a lot of the private. It's not over the top private. Thanks, my bro. Not a lot of that. Had to speak the Queen's English and taught to be ashamed of our accents. Yeah, unfortunately, that's the case with a lot of things. All right. Let's do next. A lot of people have been asking for Finnish, so let's head back to Europe. Let's go to Finland and let's give it a go. There's only 6 entries for Finnish. Let's try this one. Let's have a look first. Was in college at the time of this interview. Has never lived in a region for longer than 6 months. First learned English listening to video games and with a dictionary. So there's a chance that it's like an American influence because a lot of American video games maybe.
This recording, Finland 5, is copyright the International Dialects of English Archive. Comma Get Secure is copyright Douglas N. Honorath, Jill McCullough and Barbara Somerville.
Yeah, we used to get the same Cronax. I'm from Northern England originally, and my brother's called Martin, and my mum would be pissed if she ever heard us calling him Martin. Martin! She's like, he's not called Martin, he's called Martin. There's a T in his name. Yeah, Martin, you're coming out. This is the worst one in my opinion. Puts on an American twang. The others are far more typical. All right, then I will listen to this one to hear that.
Well,
American
here's
twang.
a story for you.
Oh yeah.
Sarah Perry was a veterinary nurse.
Oh Jesus, it's immediate. It's like, oh wow, this guy's a country farmer. I can see him doing a line dance. I'm from Finland. All right, let's go with this guy. I'm trying to go with male because it's not like the major difference, but there is a slight. Obviously, you can hear somebody's presenting. What's the word? You can hear their. I don't want to say their gender, obviously. So you can hear their biological sex in their voice because of how different the voice boxes are produced. Yeah. What was I saying? I got distracted by something for a second in my mind.
This recording, Finland 2, is copyright the International Dialects of English Archive.
Okay.
When the sunlight strikes raindrops in the air, they act as a prism and form a rainbow.
Rainbow.
The rainbow is a division of white light into many beautiful colors.
White light into many... White... That wasn't right. White light.
In the air, they act as a prism and form...
Prism.
Form a rainbow.
Rainbow. That was quite nasal. Rainbow.
The rainbow is a division of white light into many...
White light. What am I doing wrong with the light? White light.
Many beautiful colors. These take the shape of a long round arch. With its path high above, and its two ends apparently beyond the horizon. There is, according to legend, a boiling pot of gold at one end.
Boiling pot of gold. Is that right?
People look.
People look.
But no one ever finds it.
No one ever finds it. I think I'm still in South African. I need a palate cleanser.
When a man looks for something beyond his reach, his friends say he's looking for the pot of gold.
Pot of gold.
At the end of the rainbow.
End of the rainbow.
Okay, my father's American. My mother's Finn, and I was brought up as speaking Finnish, but I heard English spoken by my father.
There is an American influence here.
Also to my mother, and of course through television. Then I visited here for a couple of times in my youth. During summer, so I got kind of influence from those trips. And then I started in the 5th grade to study English.
5th grade. So it's further up. Grade. 5th grade.
English in school.
School. Couldn't get school right then. School.
Influence from those trips, and then I started in the 5th grade to study English in school.
It's got rounded lips. In school. Study English in school. This is a tough one. This is tough. A dark L at the start of words for this one. Light. Maybe. Pruned the hedges of many small villages. Rally English is the one and true Finnish. Finnish accent's like Midlands English with something in your mouth. Midlands English with something in your mouth. So not Geordie, Brummy, like Birmingham, sort of like Birmingham but with something in your mouth. Birmingham but with something in your mouth. It's very monotone. English people usually bring in way too much up and down with vowels. So Finnish is very, very monotone. Is that what you're saying?
And I studied
for
8 years.
That's another. I was talking about constriction and growl before. You just heard a perfect example of another one called glottal fry, which is when you have this sort of. It's literally it's literally when you're not putting enough energy into the vocal cords that they're just kind of like half-assing it, which is pretty much exactly what's going on. Adam from Viva has a lot of glottal fry when he speaks. That's something you'll be able to hear as well. There's a lot of speaking with this kind of croakiness in the voice. Checking the Rally English videos could really help, as they're really stereotypical, so you can get the easiest points
English
to mimic.
There, and
was there Rally English in this one? Is that what you mean, or I don't know what you mean by that. Let's listen to this lady.
This recording, Finland 6, is copyright the International Dialects of English Archive. Comma Gets a Cure is copyright Douglas N. Honorath, Jill McCullough, and Barbara Somerville.
Well, here's a story for you. Sarah Perry was a veterinary nurse who had been working daily at an old zoo in a
an old zoo. I'm reminded now. I know I've always had a problem with Scandinavian accents, and I know technically Finland isn't Scandinavian, but bear with me. I've always had a problem with those accents, and I remember now the last time I was doing them on like accent redemptions back in the charisma check days. It was because everybody there is so goddamn well spoken. Everybody who's learned English knows English so goddamn well that it's so difficult to hear. To hear like defining bits. It's not like everything is muted. There is accent there, but it's so. It's like a mountain range, but you've zoomed right out, so all the mountain peaks aren't actually that defined. Does that make sense? Like you've sanded down all of the mountain range.
Deserted district of the territory. So she was very happy to start a new job at a superb private practice in North Square near the Duke Street Tower.
Duke Street Tower. It's quite musical.
That area was much nearer for her and more to her liking. Even so, on her first morning, she felt stressed. She ate a bowl of porridge, checked herself in the mirror, and washed her face in a hurry. Then she put on a plain yellow dress and a fleece jacket.
Plain yellow dress and a fleece jacket.
Picked up her kit and headed for work. When she got there was a woman with a goose waiting for her. The woman gave Sarah an official letter from the vet.
An official letter from the vet. Pretty far from a super Finnish sounding accent, yeah. I feel like her voice is hugging me. Yeah, she's got a very pleasant voice, this lady. What does she do? She's a student, finishing her last year at university. She's lived in Wales, in the New Zealand, in the United Kingdom and California. Wales, eh? It's the highest of compliments if my students start sounding like me. Is how most Finnish people speak, I would say, from Sweden. Yeah, Swedish are the same. Like a bunch of Swedish people I've spoken to sound like that. I'm like, damn man, So well spoken. Let's go over the border into Sweden, shall we?
This recording, Sweden 4 and Barbara Somerville.
Well, here's a story for you. Sarah Perry was a veterinary nurse who had been working daily at an old zoo in a deserted district of the territory. She was very happy to start a
Very happy. He's swallowing a lot of his vowels. They're all way back here. Very happy. Very
new
happy.
job at a superb private
practice. Sounds like it's he's speaking like there's a small golf ball at the front of his mouth that he can't get his tongue around. There's the link for extremely Finnish accents, please. Yeah, all right.
Markku, 6 times winner of the Thousand Lakes Rally.
The Thousand Lakes Rally.
And you haven't been here for many years. What brings you here just this year?
Just this year.
Well, it's coming, in 50.
It's coming.
Yes, and I have in plan, that's...
Plan.
I not say grande finale, but, I want,
Grande finale, but,
nice rally for me and...
Nice rally for me and...
We will find, in good solution in...
Yeah, you would find, in a good solution.
With Mika Solberg.
With Mikael,
In our team and,
In our team.
Now is really rally start today.
Really rally start today. Sounding Italian again now. Because it is further up and forwards in the mouth, like I decided Italian was. Further up and forwards. Mikael.
And we will see. I go day by day, and I hope it's...
I'll go day by day.
Sunday is coming good results.
Good result. Try my days and good result.
Timo Salonen should have had a good rival with you. He said he doesn't come here because it's too expensive.
Too expensive.
Rival with you. He said he doesn't come here because it's too expensive.
Too expensive.
How expensive is it to take a part in?
How expensive is it?
In one single rally.
Single rally. There's a dark L at the end of the single. Single rally. Rally has the light L, but the single had a dark. Single rally.
Well, I have no
exact
numbers, but in
one single rally.
Well, I have no exact numbers.
Well, I have no exact numbers, but it's like they're high in the mouth, but you also keep a big lower open jaw, sort of, and the same setting all the time. Yes, I understand. It is like you're keeping your tongue up at the top of the mouth, but you're opening the jaw a little more. And you have the rounded voice, rounded lips, but it's all up the front of the mouth, but you can drop the jaw. Probably the most terrible way possible, knowing how southern Bavarians can't speak proper German. How is that, Dasus? If you go too quickly at too high melody, you fall into Italian, but you got it. Yeah, I did find myself going Italian when I was bouncing a bit too much. It's amazing how it's actually pretty similar to Italian in a lot of ways. You're still having a bit going up and down, bit more Eastern European, just so hard to explain. You got it there, was one sentence, very good, wow. Thank you, Dasus. That's cool. I like that one. That's a good example.
But
of it.
in Mika knowing much more, numbers. But anyway, expensive, yeah.
Are you serious with this rally now, or are you just taking it as a hobby?
No.
Are you serious? Are you serious? Serious was I went too musical with it, and it sounded Italian. Are you serious or just taking it as a hobby?
Oh no, I say in serious, but hobby, that's my, I hope I enjoy very much, and what I see last, in Monday to until yesterday, many of my old friends and like that.
Doesn't have the singing melody that other Nordic accents do. Yeah, I just went singing melody, and that was too sing-song. Doesn't have the singing melody that other Nordic accents do, as Finnish is completely different. Also, Italian is very similar as well as vowel harmony. That's cool. Thank you, Dasis. That's pretty cool. I'll try and remember in future that Finnish and Italian are actually pretty similar, but Italian's just more sing-songy, a bit more up and down, and Finnish has the slightly more rounded mouth. All right. Don't forget, everybody. Actually, that's a good question. I got a good point. I got some pineapple juice the other day, and pineapple juice is good for the throat, I heard a while back. So I'm just going to pop you on a Be Right Back screen for like literally just less than 2 minutes while I go and get some juice, go stretch your legs and stuff, and then we'll continue on with some more accents. I may have also grabbed a cookie. Rob, speaking Finnish-style rally English just made my day. On my week, best thing ever. Oh, I'm glad. You can clip it. Keep it forever. I did stretch my legs. But not because you told me to. Didn't you stretch your legs because I told you to, though? Because were you reminded that you needed to stretch your legs because I mentioned it? Czech accent now? All right. Czech next. Let's check the Czech accent. Be aware that what you are drinking when you're trying to do accent works can make your voice sound differently. It does not go down the vocal cords. So some people are like, "Oh, drink lots of water because it'll wash the vocal cords." No, if your water's going over your vocal cords, you're drowning. It can, however, still affect your voice, even though it's not going over the vocal cords, because there is obviously the shared space between the epiglottis, where the trachea and the esophagus meet. All of the shared space between the back of the mouth, the mouth, the nasal cavity, all of that is the same space for eating and drinking and stuff. So if you're lining your mouth with something like milk, it can give you a bubble in the throat kind of sound, if you know what I mean, like that kind of lots of Flemish, not Flemish as in capital F, phlegmy kind of sounding. So there is some effect between like what you're eating and drinking and things. A lot of the voice actors will recommend eating a green apple before doing your voice work, because it can help with the sort of the wet sounds that your voice makes, I guess, and reducing those. Sounds better on camera. Sounds better on recording. And I don't know if there's any truth to it, but I heard that pineapple juice is good for if you're doing a lot of talking. I don't know if there's any truth to it, but I don't really care because pineapple juice is delicious. And I hear it's good for other things too. Just found a YouTube channel with different German accents. Pretty good. Search for German on that channel. Can't believe you said that with a straight face. Said what? I don't know what you're talking about, Wraith. All right. We're doing Czech for Czech Morticia and others that want to Czech. We'll get onto Dutch, real Mark. We'll get onto Dutch, but we're going to do Czech now. Czech is in Europe. Czechoslovakia. Let's have a look. Czech Republic. Or Czechia, as I hear it is called these days. I thought they were all female for a second. We've got a 64-year-old male or a 23-year-old male. That would have been... These are both going to be pretty garbage, I think, because they're both going to be
This
made
recording,
before
Czech
comma gets
Republic
secure.
2, is copyright the International Dialects of English Archive.
When the sunlight strikes raindrops in the air, they act as a prism and form...
When they were recording this, they were like, do you have anywhere that's more like an echo chamber? Could we record in a tank? Have you got like a giant water tank that we can just empty out of the water and record in there maybe? Or how about a dungeon with spherical stone walls? Do you have that?
From a rainbow. The rainbow is a division of white light into many beautiful colors. These take the shape of a long round arc with its path high above and its two ends apparently beyond the horizon. There is, according to legend, a boiling pot of gold at one end. People look, but no one ever finds it. When a man looks for something beyond his reach, his friends say he is looking for the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Throughout the centuries, people have explained the rainbow in various ways.
Various ways. Sounds Italian and sounds a little bit French. Various ways. No, not French. Various. Spanish? Various ways. Espanol. No, not Spanish either. Various ways.
Some have accepted it as a miracle without physical explanation.
Physical explanation. He does speak Russian, English, Czech, Russian, French, and German. Jesus fuck. Yeah, because the most important part of the accent. In order to do a Czech accent, you need to be able to put reverb on your own voice. Sounds a bit Hungarian, does he?
To the Hebrews, it was a token that there would be no more universal floods.
This recording, Czech Republic 3, is copyright the International Dialects of English Archive. Comma Gets a Cure is copyright Douglas N. Honorath, Jill Mc...
This is interesting. This must be one of the first times that they used Comma Gets a Cure, because they've used the same exact intro audio for all of the Comma Gets a Cure stuff. This guy in like a recording studio saying Comma Gets a Cure is copyright Douglas N. Honorath, blah blah blah. But you can hear background, so this must be one of the first times he's done it, before he recorded it to put on the start of everything.
Cullen and Barbara Somerville.
Well, here is a story for you. Sarah Perry was a veterinary nurse who had been working daily at an old zoo in a deserted district of the territory. So she was very happy.
He's got a very long sort of... he's got a sort of... a voice that trails off into sort of the vowels at the end of the words.
To start a new job at a superb private practice in the North Square near the Duke Street Tower.
Duke Street Tower.
That area was much nearer for her and more to her liking. Even so, on her first morning, she felt stressed.
Ooh, stressed. Had a German sort of stressed. She felt stressed. At that R that we were talking about before, at the back. The stressed.
To her liking. Even so, on her first morning, she felt stressed.
Yeah.
She ate a bowl of porridge, checked herself in the mirror, and washed her face in a hurry. Then she put on a plain yellow dress and a fleece jacket, picked up her kit and headed for work.
Picked up her kit and headed for work. Check, people. Is this a good representation?
When she got there, there was a woman with a goose waiting for her.
Woman with a goose waiting for... I can see this guy as a cartoon character in something like Rick and Morty. Like he's like all pointy faced and he's got like long eyebrows and a goatee or something. Like, hello, I have a long vowels. When she got there, almost Transylvanian.
The woman gave Sarah an official letter from the vet.
From the vet.
The letter implied that the animal could be suffering from a rare form.
Suffering. He gave that the Germanic sort of suffering from a rare. He didn't do it from a rare though, did he?
A letter from the vet. The letter implied that the animal could be suffering from a rare.
Oh no, he did. From a rare. So he's got that French/Germanic throat R. I can't remember what they're actually called in linguistics. Rare
form of foot and mouth disease.
Disease. So there you go. He's using the non-voiced S rather than the voiced Z. Disease rather than disease.
Surprising. Because...
But then he does use the Z in the surprising. So he doesn't say surprising, which would be a German thing to do. He says surprising.
Normally you would only expect to see it in a dog or a goat.
Sarah
was sentimental, so this made her feel sorry for the beautiful bird. Before long, that itchy goose began to strut around the office like a lunatic. Which made an unsanitary...
The R sounds you think are German only use Germans who speak rarely English and have basic school English. Higher school degrees, you lose that R. Yeah, because you're speaking... But like I'm looking for the people who are speaking most closely to their native tongue, so that they've got the thickest accents. The closer you get to learning... That's the difference between an accent and a dialect. You can see both on screen there, accents and dialects. Accents, as far as I was taught it by my voice teacher, accents is when your native tongue is not English. So like French is an accent, but Australian is a dialect. Within French people would have different dialects of France. They would have southern France and Paris, and all of the different regions of France would have different dialects of French. But when you are and likewise, English would be an accent. If I was to speak another language, I would speak French with an English accent. So if you're speaking a different language, that's an accent. If you're speaking the same language but from a different area, that's a dialect. As far as I was told it, anyway. So the closer you get to the more, as you're saying, Ronja, as you're speaking English a lot more, and you've got much better higher education English, you're dropping the accent and becoming almost a dialect at that point, because you would be fluent in English. And so to get the strongest German, as it were, would be, you want somebody who doesn't speak much English and has basic school English, because then they are closest to having their own native language influencing the way that they're speaking. A ton of Finnish dialects, so much we have Kirjakieli, as the strongest dialects talking with each other would have a hard time understanding each other sometimes, not anymore as the population doesn't stay the same much. Yeah, Glaswegian Scottish is technically the same language as southern US English, but it have a hard time understanding one another. Limburg accent is very pronounced when speaking Dutch, but speaking the Limburg dialect is very different when speaking Dutch. That one, yes, J is in U.
Terry Mass. The goose's owner, Mary Harrison, kept calling comma, which Sarah thought was an odd choice for a name. comma was strong and huge, so it would take some force to trap her.
But
Sarah had a different idea. First, she tried gently stroking the goose's lower back with her palm, then singing a tune to her. Finally, she administered ether. Her efforts were not futile. In no time, the goose began to tire.
So that that means that you're bringing the mouth back. Tire. Yeah, so this is down and back. Unlike the Italian and Finnish, which were forward and up, this is quite down and back, so that the sounds are a little more open and in the throat than I would be used to. In no time, the goose began to tire, so Sarah was able to hold on to comma and give her a relaxing bath.
I was able to hold on to comma and give her a relaxing bath.
Relaxing bath.
Once Sarah had managed to bath the goose, she wiped her off with a cloth and laid her on her right side.
Right side. My understanding is that accents about the sound, dialects about both pronunciation, vocabulary differences, grammatical differences, dialects visible in writing but not accents. Yeah, I think that's a good way to sum it up. I think dialects are basically not recognised languages with the same base. Frisian was first seen as a dialect but is now viewed as a different language. Cool. Oh shit, missed the accent stream. Not missed it, Spidey. We've only been going for, jeez, 2.5 hours. I'm not anywhere near finishing yet, Spidey. You can join in for a little while. How could I not strain my voice with a Russian accent? All right, we'll talk about that next. We're just finishing up with Czech Republic dialects, and I'm not doing very well at it. There's not a great deal of option for me. Let's use the most recent one here, and let's see if this gives me a better idea. And then we'll talk about your Russian accent for your character in my game.
This recording, Czech Republic 7, is copyright the International Dialects of English Archive. Comma Gets a Cure is copyright Douglas N. Honorath, Jill McCullough, and Barbara Somerville.
Well, here's a story for you. Sarah Perry was a veterinary nurse who had been working daily at an old zoo in a deserted district.
Zoo. So there's a diphthong. Zoo. No, that's actually not a diphthong because it's the same vowel. Ooh. It's just two different pitches. Two different pitches of the same vowel. So what is that? I don't think that counts as a diphthong. Diphthongs are when you turn the vowel into two different vowel sounds.
District of the territory. So she was very happy to start a new job.
Start a new job. Job. Oh, hers is actually further up.
At a summer private practice in North Square near the Duke Street Tower. That area was much nearer for her and more to her liking. Even so, on her first morning, she felt stressed.
She didn't have that throat ah. She felt stressed.
She ate a bowl of porridge, checked herself in the mirror, and washed her face in a hurry.
Hurry. Washed her face in a hurry. Did I hear a cat meowing? Yeah, I think it was on the recording.
Then she put on a plain yellow dress and a fleece jacket.
So Czech is difficult because is this a good representation of Czech as well? Because this one, unlike the last guy, is definitely further up in the mouth. His was further down and back. And hers is up here. Fleece jacket. Which is further up than mine, which would be fleece. It's a little bit harder when it's a woman recording because there is a higher pitch naturally, and so I think about I'm trying to copy her sound, and so I'm pitching it up, which is not how I would speak it if I was just copying the accent alone. So I have to do an extra layer of kind of reversal in my mind, which you know, any amount of added complexity makes it slightly more difficult. This is more accurate than the last one. Okay.
Picked up her kit and headed for work.
When
she got there was a woman with
the goose waiting for her.
The woman gave Sarah an official letter from the wet.
From the wet. Is that a Czech thing? The V's into W's like Germans do. A trilled rhotic R. No, the trilled rhotic R's are the Scottish ones. Trilled. The rhotic R's are when you can basically tell that it's an R sound. Rhotic R. And then trilled is this sound. That's a trill. Trilled rhotic R's. I was always told by Chinese people that Chinese does not exist and that Cantonese and Mandarin. Yeah, I've heard the same, but then I've heard lots of conflicting examples as well, where Chinese people just call Mandarin Chinese. It's a Czech thing, we don't really have a W sound. A letter from the wet.
The animal could be suffering from a rare form of foot and mouth disease.
Foot. That's for the south in the mouth. Foot and mouth. So that's further south and forwards.
Implied that the animal could be suffering from a rare form of foot and mouth disease.
Foot and mouth disease. Foot and mouth disease. Foot. It's also rounded. Foot. A rare form of foot and mouth disease.
Which was surprising because normally you would only expect to see it in a dog or a goat.
Dog or a goat.
Sentimental, so this made her feel sorry for the beautiful birds.
Beautiful bird. Made her feel sorry for the beautiful bird. Sarah was sentimental. So you can hear that I'm pitching it up. Sarah was sentimental, so this made her feel sorry for the beautiful bird. A foot and mouth disease. So I think with this, I'm going with bouncy. But if I remove the bounciness, and Sarah was sentimental, the letter implied that the animal could be suffering from a rare form of foot and mouth disease. It's a Czech thing, we don't really have a W sound. In Franken, I feel like this isn't right. A part of Bavaria, the R is also rolled like that. No, I haven't got it. I haven't got Czech yet.
Because before long, that itchy goose began to strut around the office like a lunatic, which made an unsanitary mess.
Unsanitary mess.
The owner, Mary Harrison, kept calling, comma, which Sarah thought was an...
Thought. So rounded lips, south in the mouth again. Thought. This is a tough one.
Odd choice for a name.
Comma was strong and huge.
Take some
force to trap her.
But Sarah had a different idea.
First she tried gently stroking the goose's lower back with her palm and singing a tune to her. Finally she administered ether.
Her efforts were not futile.
In no time, the goose began to tire, so Sarah was able to hold on to Comma and give her a relaxing bath.
The goose began to tire, so Sarah was able to hold on to Comma and give her a relaxing bath.
This is a tough one. I'll have to come back to check another time, I think. I can't quite place where to put it and what changes I need to make in mind to get to it. It's always important to use the right term for something. I was always told by Chinese people as well. The Chinese does not exist. Cantonese and Mandarin. From what I'm reading, Mandarin, Cantonese, Shanghaiese, is that a new one? I've never heard of Shanghaiese. Are so distinct they are different languages. The majority of people use the same written language, which is based on Mandarin. I don't know. I've got nothing to add to that discussion because I have no idea. I don't know anything about Chinese, Mandarin, Cantonese. Came on while working on one of the Skyrim accents. Nice. Alright, what were we doing after Czech Republic? I said that I was going to do Dutch at some point. I also need to help my friend Spidey with his Russian. Russian. So we're not actually talking about Russian so much. We're talking about how Spidey can do the Russian without hurting his voice. So Thade Old Strong. He's not only Russian. This is Spidey's character in a game that I run on. Well, tomorrow is the next game actually. So he's Russian like this, but this would not be Thade Old Strong's voice. He also has this voice, this growl to it. So Thade Old Strong has this Kavosna business. He has this sort of thing going on. So what is this? Let me think. He has some constriction to it. He's constricting the voice. And doing it for too long means that Spidey has a sore throat by the end. Shing, shing. And so, to not damage the voice, let's think, what does he have to do? Kavosna business. So it needs to be anytime you're putting constriction or growl into a voice, you need to use it as an accent rather than, and I'm not using the word accent as this, I mean like you need to use it as a, what's a better word than accent? You need to use it as a highlight. It needs to be used as a highlight when you're saying something that needs the growl. So I did not say that you could move away. I am not finished interrogating you yet. You can put on the growl and the constriction in your voice at small times, but you should never have a voice that is all growl and all constriction at all times. And when you do put on the growl, you can sort of bounce it up to 10, but it should always drop back down to at most an 8 on the scale, so that the rest of it, the other 2, is made up from the breath coming through. You need to, so no growl all the time, no, you need to have some growl when you are emphasizing things, or maybe like, hey, come, Callus, why don't we dance together? And you can say Callus with the growl in it. But then, why don't we dance together? Can have more of the breath coming through it. It's not from anywhere in Russia. It's from Fantasy England. It's from wherever the fuck we want in my fantasy world. That's the thing about fantasy accents in D&D. You don't have to actually make them anywhere. Nobody can say you're doing it wrong because I'm not doing a Russian accent. I'm doing a Thade Old Strong accent. I'm Batman. I'm not wearing hockey pants. So Thade Old Strong. It's about. You can pull back. One of the things you can do to get the Thade Old Strong is lower the larynx a little bit. So this laryngeal height, this thing that jumps up and down when you're speaking. If you pull it right down like this, then you've got a completely different voice. This is not Thade Old Strong because it is not a deeper voice, because I can still speak with quite a high voice, but I have this low larynx height, which gives me sort of like a dopey kind of feel. But if you push it up to just sort of lower than your average voice, it can give you this more resonant kind of voice. So keep the Russian of Thade Old Strong, but introduce. I'm losing Thade now. Kavosna business. It's sort of almost iconic because of that constriction at the beginning. Kavosna business. Oh, this is a tough one to try and keep a hold of Thade Old Strong in my mind while also sort of changing things up and moving it around. Thade Old Strong. We are looking for Bruce. Have you seen a man? Have you seen a man with one hand riding on the back of a griffin? So you need to have the growl in there to be said, but it does not need to be 100% at 100% of the time. You can turn the growl. You can turn the growl down to like 40% at most of the times, and it will still sound like Thade. But then the growl comes into it a little more. When you need to emphasize something, you ramp it up like revving a car engine. And the rest of the time, it's important to have the aspiration. So if you don't know what aspirant is, that's another vocal quality where it's basically breathiness. So when you're speaking, and you can tell that you're not quite on voice. On voice is another way to say that you're not speaking fully with your whole voice. There's a lot of air that's coming through that isn't really being affected by the vocal cords. So you can turn aspiration, you can turn aspirant, and aspirant quality turns it right up, and it can be mistaken for a whisper. But I'm not whispering, I'm still speaking at the same volume as I was before. It's just my volume thing on the microphone is still going up to the same points that it was. But now it's just that I'm letting a lot more air through the vocal cords as well at the same time. And although I'm still hitting the same volume, you can hear that most of it is just air at this point. And so that's aspirant, and you need some aspirant in pretty much everything else. You need some aspirant to protect your voice against full growl. You need some aspirant to protect your voice against full constriction. Constriction is when you're tensing the voice like this. This is a tenon constriction. But it's not growl. Constriction and growl are two different things, but closely related. Growl. Growl is just pretty much you've got it or you don't. There's not like... You can't have a little bit of growl. So when I was saying growl before, I was really talking about constriction. I had an ASMR quality to it when I was very aspirant. That gives you some things to think about there, Spidey. I think you can show me some variations on your voice tomorrow, and I can help you in person with it. Have a play around with Thade Old Strong. Thade Old Strong. I think the most important thing is that he has a slightly lower larynx, not too much, but slightly lower larynx. He has a little bit deeper voice, deeper pitch. He's got this Russian sort of Slavic accent, and then every so often there is just this little bit of growl. And if you do feel like, oh, my throat is getting sore, it's a good indication you're doing it a little bit too wrong. You're taking too much constriction. A good thing to do is to stop, swallow. Swallowing naturally resets the height of your larynx, and then do a little bit of humming. Try not to cough too much. Coughing is a sudden. It's the vocal cords coming together and then poof, pushing a lot of air through it all at once. Poof, and it can hurt the vocal cords. Too much coughing. So obviously it can't be helped if you have a cough, but. Don't try not to cough to reset any voice. If you're like, oh, that's affecting my throat, don't try to go oh and cough and splutter. Instead, a good way to reset the voice is to hum, gently hum. Hopefully it doesn't mess with your COVID throat. Yeah, I know, right? Can you do the old person whistling S? This sort of S, sonny. The old person whistling S when they're talking through their teeth a little bit. I always associate this whistling S with Gopher from the Winnie the Pooh series. Hey, listen up, sonny. Shh. Is this an English thing at all? In Finland, I hear old people who just high whistle every single S. I started doing it when I was serving old people. Here's your soup, sir. The fish of the day is salmon. How am I doing it? I'm doing it by clumping the sides of my tongue between these teeth, my premolars, and I'm dropping I'm flattening out the tip of the tongue, basically absorbing the tip of the tongue back into the blade of the tongue. And I'm just letting the blade of the tongue kind of rest between the two where I'm clamping it. And then I'm pushing air over the top of it, and as it comes rolling off the front of that very broad surface, it's then moving through the teeth at the front. Also, bringing the lips in helps as well, because you're not going to be able to do much with your lips parted like that. But if you bring your lips in rounded, sounds like the wind in a desert canyon. If you practice, you can just whistle tunes normally with it without your lips. If you bring in the voice when you're whistling, that's a fun one as well. Sheesh. She sells. She shells. Seashells. Seashells. She shells. Seashells, Sonny. My cat's very intrigued by the whistling talking. Never be able to whistle on purpose. You can whistle, Erwin, you just need to give it practice. So it's very much dependent on the tongue placement in the mouth. A lot of people focus on the lips and say, oh, you need to just purse your lips and blow. But it's very much about the tongue placement in the mouth. With the regular tongue placement, nothing. But suddenly, as I'm blowing out, I'm bringing the back of the tongue up, and I'm restricting that airflow into a smaller amount so that it vibrates faster. You can out-whistle, in-whistle, and tongue whistle. I can out-whistle, I can in-whistle, and I can tongue whistle. Tongue whistle.
A new adventurer joins the team.
Love your content. Like that? Rob. Is that what you mean? Or tongue whistle? Do you mean like I can finger whistle as well? I like that. Thank you very much, General Flores. Thank you for the Prime subscription. Have we? Is that the first thing we've had all stream? Actually, I think everybody's been focused on. No, but Gorilla did as well. A few people have actually. Spencer, thank you very much. Gamey Goose, thank you. Spates, thank you. Spates. A lot of the cookies, thank you. We had a few actually. And Iliaden, thank you very much. Sort of cleaner and higher pitched. You want a finger whistle? 2 fingers like that. It's actually easier with this one, but if you want to do it one-handed. So thumb and middle finger together. Tongue folded back on itself. You don't necessarily have to be able to do it and hold it there like I can. But it helps. Fingers on the tongue like that. And then purse your lips around it and like hold on to the fingers as tightly as you can, essentially. And then just blow. I'm kind of raising the back of the tongue up just a little bit. Same process with this one as well. 2 fingers together like your Matt Hardy doing the Swanton Bomb off the top rope. That's a callback to people who knew wrestling in the 90s, I guess. Pushing the top of the tongue back. Just pursing the lips real close and then push. And then don't expect to get it the first time. You got to practice. You got to move. Hey, did you get it, Tim? Nice. You gotta move around. You gotta loosen the lips slowly as you're breathing out. You gotta adjust the height of the tongue. You gotta practice. You gotta adjust the finger placement. You're gonna eventually. Mythical, you got it. Did the finger whistle for the first time. Hey, there you go, J. Lee Fry. So many people all over the world trying to finger whistle at the same time right now. You just kind of did it. Nice. Well done, Forever Gemma. You got to practice. You got to try things. Don't expect to be good at things the first time you do it. Depending on how high your fingers are on the tip, it's a really high tone. Lower under your tongue, it's a deeper tone. Wow, that's something I didn't know. Use the very bottom of your tongue while doing that whistle. You can easily emulate a pigeon hooing. All right. Finger whistle connecting people. I can curl my tongue at the sides, but it's resting, curling back on itself, even if I press my fingers into it. It's resisting curling back on itself. Yeah, I think it does help that I'm very flexible with my tongue. I can turn it upside down, both directions. Nice. I can fold it back on itself. I can roll it, obviously, and I can do the three-leafed clover on it. My tongue also has a. I have a what the hell's the word for it? Because it's not a disease or an illness or anything. I've got a condition. I've got a condition on my tongue called geographic tongue. Has anybody in the chat heard of this? It's quite a rare thing. Geographic tongue. Some people have it only when they've like eaten something particular that they react to or whatever. Who is trying to whistle right now? Some people only get it after they've like had an allergic reaction on their tongue or whatever, but me, I have it all times. It doesn't affect me in any way other than visually. So if you are grossed out by tongues or anything, here's your warning. I'm about to show you mine, and it's kind of gross. It is called geographic tongue because the different papilla, the different like little tiny little fingery bits on your tongue, not taste buds, slightly different, but the little bumps, the little bumpy bits, the hairy bits, essentially. You know when a cat licks you and it's super rough because it feels like sandpaper? Because cats have very strong and very sharp papilla for licking meat off of bones. We have it papilla too, but it's just not as rough as a cat's. So the little papilla on the tongue, in people with geographic tongue, they sort of clump together in some areas and have a really dense, a really high density, and it gives like a very white kind of appearance. And then in other areas of the tongue, they are basically gone, and it gives like a sparse, pinky kind of area. And so there are areas of the tongue that have really white pinky bits and areas that don't, have like patches, and it kind of looks a little bit like a map. Kind of looks like somebody's taking a border of a continent or something. A fantasy map of a few islands or archipelagos or whatever. So it does that, and then day to day, those different clumps and densities move around and change up a little bit. Get with it. Let's see the goods. So this bit at the side here, very pinkish. It's in the middle, very white. Another quite long pinkish bit here. And if I showed you tomorrow, it would likely look very different. It would have the same sort of situation, but it would have shifted around a bit. For a while, I was actually taking a photo of myself with my tongue out every night, just to see what changed day to day. And it does sort of move around a bit. It doesn't even resemble a consonant. Fucking gypped. How dare you? You stole it from me. I wanted a consonant tongue. So mine is a really sparse case, I guess. Like nobody doesn't really affect me in any way. Some people do feel like their geographic tongue it flares up really bad when they eat spicy foods or whatever, or it can like affect how they're feeling in their mouth essentially. Mine doesn't bother me. It doesn't affect anything. It just looks kind of gross, especially when I'm sticking my tongue out. But I have a very flexible tongue in that sense. How many people in the chat can do the clover? Spidey can do the clover. Acidic food mucks up with yours, Aja. Like tart and sour stuff can make your whole jaw seize up. Oh, Jesus. Seem to have like a smiley on my tongue that's going. I can do the clover. what they tell me. My white areas aren't as white, but I definitely got it. The more you know. I know Daniel Radcliffe can. Can't do any of your tongue tricks. East of your stream while ESO servers are down. And they roll mine into a tube. Sort of tongue-tied. Do the clover thing. Can you clover your tongue? Current poll. Alright, I got a better vote on this. Yes, I can. And I also like polls. Food shouldn't be pain. Yeah, I don't like spicy foods for that reason, really. I don't mind a bit of spice, but as soon as it starts to actually feel like painful, then I'm like, why would I eat something that's painful? They got it from their dad. Yeah, I hear that rolling the tongue is a genetic thing. I imagine clovering your tongue is the same. How do I do it? I think I'm like kind of jamming the tip of the tongue against the inside of the lip. And then pushing the sides up and then just pushing the whole tongue forwards, and I think it just folds it into itself. Rolling the tongue is not a genetic thing? It's a myth, is it? Well, there you go then. I touch my nose with my tongue. You sort of roll it up and then smash it into the front of the lip. Yeah, into the back of the lip, rather. I can't do tricks with it, but I can console myself by knowing my sense of taste is very keen. Can't clover my tongue, but I can roll my tongue and roll my tongue. Like a body roll, but just the tongue. Right, yeah. That's pretty hard to do, actually. Anyway, we're getting well off the topic of... I mean, we're still in the mouth, so whatever. But we're off topic of accents now. Rob, show all the newer people the English accent clip. You know the one. All right, let's practice some English accents, shall we? I love being in the mouth. All right, let's jump over to English accents and try some English accents, shall we? English, England. Ooh, there's a lot of parts of England. Look, England 112 in the southwest of England. Then you've got English southeast. You got London, man, East Midlands, West Midlands, Yorkshire and Humber. I mean, geez, let's. I guess let's just pick one at random. Let's do England 81.
This recording,
let's see if I can copy this guy's voice.
Is copyright the International Dialects of English Archive. Comma Gets a Cure is copyright Douglas N. Honoroff, Jill McCullough and Barbara Somerville.
Well, here's a story for you. Sarah Perry was a veterinary nurse who had been working daily at an old zoo in a deserted district of the territory. So she was very happy to start a new job at a superb private practice in North Square, near the Duke Street Tower.
Near the Duke Street Tower.
The area was much nearer for her and more to her liking.
More to her liking.
Even so, on her first morning she felt stressed. She ate a bowl of porridge, checked herself in the mirror and washed her face in a hurry. She then put on a plain yellow dress and a fleece jacket, picked up her kit and headed for work. When she got there was a woman with a goose waiting for her. The woman gave Sarah an official letter from the vet. The letter implied that the animal could be suffering from a rare form of foot and mouth disease, which was surprising because normally you would only expect to see it in a dog or a goat. Sarah was sentimental, so this made me feel sorry for the beautiful bird. Before long, that itchy goose began to strut around the office like a lunatic, which made an unsanitary mess. The goose's owner, Mary Harrison, kept calling, comma, which Sarah thought was an odd choice for a name. Comma was strong and huge, so it would take some force to trap her. But Sarah had a different idea. First, she tried gently stroking the goose's lower back with her palm, and singing a tune to her. Finally, she administered
so young, don't it?
Her efforts were not futile. In no time, the goose began to tire, so Sarah was able to hold on to Comma and give her a relaxing bath.
Hold on to Comma and give her a relaxing bath.
Once Sarah had managed to bathe the goose, she wiped her off with a cloth and laid her on the right side.
Holy cow, this guy was from Leeds, West Yorkshire and recently moved to New Zealand. I'm from Leeds, West Yorkshire and recently moved to New Zealand. Oh my god, he was born on my birthday too.
Then Sarah confirmed the vet's diagnosis. Almost immediately, she remembered an effective treatment that required her to measure out a lot of medicine. Sarah warned that this course of treatment might be expensive, either 5 or 6 times the cost of penicillin.
No wonder you
I can't imagine paying so much, but Mrs. Harrison, a millionaire lawyer, thought it was a fair price for a cure.
So when I first moved to New Zealand, there was one of the voice teachers that was filling in for us at drama school. We were on a school trip. We were on a drama school trip, and he was like, "Hey, do you mind if I record you saying a thing?" And I was like, "Sure, why not?" So I recorded a thing, talked to him for a bit, didn't think anything of it, and then a year or so later, this other voice teacher came in, Darcy Smith, and he was teaching us all about voice and accents, and he introduced me to Comma Gets a Cure and said, like, listen, this is what I'm talking about. And I was in his office for like a consultation thing, and he was talking about how I wasn't getting the accent quite right for a play I was in or something. And he pulled up this website on his computer. I'm sitting opposite him, and he goes, so listen, and he grabbed this website up and started playing some example of the accent I was trying to do. And I was listening to it and I'm going, what's this? I said, like, what's this script from? And he goes, what do you mean? And I was like, it sounds really familiar. Is it from a play? And he goes, no, it's a thing that's written for this website. I was like, I swear I've heard this. And he goes, have you recorded something for a voice teacher at any point? And I was like, maybe. And then he starts going through the English ones and he goes, is this you? And I was like, oh, I have recorded. I didn't know I was on this website. And so there you go. I was on this website without knowing about it. The extra funny thing, I don't know if I've ever mentioned this on camera or not. The extra funny thing is I went for some voice acting work once. I went for a job where they said, actually it wasn't voiceover at work, it was, oh Jesus, that's even funnier. I just remembered the ending of this story as well. There's more to it than I thought. Oh shit, I need to go back. So there was a war play, a play about Second World War that was being made. It was being filmed in New Zealand, but they wanted British actors and things. So I went for a part in this play, in this film, and they said in the audition, in the email for the audition, we need people to be sounding like they are from Northern England, like these sorts of people. And they had a link to my entry on International Dialects of English Archive, and I thought, I got this fucking job in the bag. I have never been so confident in securing myself a role because I'm the fucking voice that they have used as a reference, and I did not get the part. A New Zealander got the part. And then, so that's as far as I remembered until now, and then as I was about to start telling the story, I remembered that there's actually more to the story than that. Because then they got me back in to do the ADR, that's additional dialogue recording. I dubbed over that guy's voice because on the day he wasn't getting the accent right. So they were like, let's find somebody who can do the accent. So basically they were telling me, we liked your voice, we didn't like your performance, is basically what I took away. So I ended up doing the fucking voiceover for the part that I didn't get. And that's not the first time it's happened either. The other time that it happened in a similar but different manner was I was going for a part for an advert, I think it was, and they said, we want this sort of guy. You get a character breakdown if anybody's not familiar with acting. You get a character breakdown and it's like, this guy is in his mid-30s, he's a nice guy, he's blah-de-blah, he looks kind of like this, you get a brief description, let himself go, yada yada. So this character breakdown comes in for this ad that I'm doing, and it said like young white guy blah blah blah, sort of like this, and they give examples, and this is not uncommon either. Examples of the sort of fucking face that they're looking for. And one of the pictures was my fucking headshot from my agent's website, and I didn't get the part. So they're like, for this character, we're kind of looking for someone like this or this or this guy, and then this guy fucking auditions for them and doesn't get the part. It happened a third time as well. One time with my face, one time with my voice, and one time with pretty much exactly who I was. So they said I went for an audition for a presenting job for like children's TV, and the description for the children's TV was, we need somebody who is very good at acting and is comfortable on camera. It was like children's TV specifically about animals, and it was like really comfortable around animals, knows a lot about animals, this and that and the other. I can't remember all the things now because it was so long ago, but everything they outlined, I was like, I have an acting degree. I've been acting since I was 13. I've been working at a zoo for the last 6 years. I know about animals so often, yada, yada, yada. And I was like, I tick every single box on this thing. It's basically describing me, and I went for the part and didn't get it. Because they wanted diversity and hired a Samoan woman instead. And I was told, and I'm putting that in inverted commas because I was told that that's the reason that I didn't get it, is because they wanted more diversity. So that's pretty much the time when I gave up on acting, because I was like, I'm going for a part where they've literally used my face as an example and I still don't get it. I'm going for a part where they used my voice as an example and I didn't get it. And I'm going for a part where they used every part of the description of who I am as an example, and I still don't get it. I cannot be a good enough actor for this industry, and I pretty much gave up on it. We want someone like you, not exactly you. Yeah, pretty insane. Don't worry, I saved you. You certainly did, Spidey. And Spidey introduced me to Viva la Dirt League and said, this guy can do Dungeons and Dragons. You should play together. And the rest's history. TV's lost his, tabletop's gain. Yeah. Yep. My father was building a model for the army. The model was broken on the way to the base, so he came over to fix it. The person that met him told him he cannot see the model because it's confidential and he's not allowed to see it. He built the model. Couldn't handle the full rub. Yeah. We want this guy's voice, but with this other guy's face. Anyway, so yes, this is my entry in England, England 81 on the Idea Archive. And you can tell how much my voice has been modified since 2008. When I first moved out to New Zealand, I sounded a lot more like that. This is like a year after moving to New Zealand as well, so it wasn't exactly fresh off the boat, as it were. Look how much I and ah. You can just kind of see it just by scanning your eyes over it. In England, so much. Wonder what the Kiwi accents are like on there. No reason. There's actually one of the Kiwi accents is a fellow I was at drama school with in my class, and he is a British guy. He's an English guy, so I don't know why he was on here as New Zealand. I don't know why I'm looking for it in Europe. Australia, Oceania, New Zealand. Let's have a look. Oh, we've got a lot more entries these days. Let's give it a go, eh? So I was right that I was in before it was about being you. You were indeed. It was me.
This recording, New Zealand 19, is copyright the International Dialects of English Archive. Comma Gets a Cure is copyright Douglas N. Honorath, Jill McCullough, and Barbara Somerville.
Comma Gets a Cure. Well, here's a story for you. Sarah Perry was a veterinary nurse who had been working daily at an old zoo in a deserted district of the territory. So she was very happy to start a new job.
Superb private practice in North Square near the Duke Street Tower.
That area was much nearer for her,
more to her liking.
Even so, on her first morning, she
felt stressed.
She ate a bowl of porridge, checked herself in the mirror, and washed her face in a hurry. Then she put on a plain yellow dress and a fleece jacket, picked up...
Plain yellow dress and a fleece jacket. Picked up a kit and headed for work. When she got there was a woman with a goose waiting for her. The woman gave Sarah an official letter from the vet. The letter implied that the animal could be suffering from a rare form of foot and mouth disease, which Sarah thought was odd. It was only usually found in a dog or a goat. Picked
up her kit and headed for work. When she got there was a woman with a goose waiting for her. The woman gave Sarah an official letter from the vet.
Letter from the vet. The letter implied the animal could be suffering from a rare form of foot and mouth disease.
The letter implied that the animal could be suffering from a rare form of foot and mouth disease, which was surprising because normally you would only expect to see it in a dog or a goat. Sentimental. So this
dog or a goat. Sarah was sentimental, so this made her feel sorry for the beautiful bird.
Before long, that itchy goose began to strut around the office like a lunatic, which made an unsanitary mess. The goose's owner, Mary Harrison, kept calling comma, which Sarah thought was an odd choice for a name.
Comma was strong and huge, so it would take some force to trap her. First, she tried gently stroking the goose's lower back with her palm and singing a tune to her.
So it would take some force to trap her, but Sarah had a different idea. First, she tried gently stroking the goose's lower back with her
palm and singing a tune to her. Then she administered ether. Finally, the goose began to tire, so Sarah was able to hold on to comma and give her a relaxing bath.
And singing a tune to her. Finally, she administered ether. Her efforts were not futile. In no time, the goose began to tire, so Sarah was able to hold on to comma and give her a relaxing bath.
Give her a relaxing bath. Give her a relaxing bath.
Once Sarah had managed to bathe the goose, she wiped her off with a cloth and laid her on her right side. Then Sarah confirmed the vet's diagnosis.
Confirmed the vet's diagnosis. It's a pretty good New Zealand accent, that one. This is the fella that was. I went to drama school with him, and he does not have a Kiwi accent at all.
This recording,
so I don't know why he's under Kiwi and not British.
New Zealand 16 is copyright the International Dialects of English Archive. Comma gets a cure.
Look, he was raised in England until the age of 13. Why is he even on the New Zealand part of it?
Is copyright Douglas N. Honoroff, Jill McCullough, and Barbara Somerville.
Well, here's a story for you. Sarah Perry was a veterinary nurse who had been working daily at an old zoo in a deserted district of the territory. She was so very...
Oh yeah, very British this, isn't it? Very New Zealand.
Happy to start a new job.
Very happy to start a new job. Yeah, the epitome of New Zealand.
The superb private practice in North Square near the Duke Street Tower.
Maori, Caucasian. The more noobish question ever. I'm Italian, so mother tongue. How important this accent thing is on voice over talent's world is. A voice over talent for Italian language. I was wondering if I could even try some English speaking audition. Which dialect should I try and master? Happy UK is my favourite, but standard American's easier. They're both very useful. Silent sound. If you can master an accent so that you do not sound Italian, then damn, fair play to you. That's excellent work. Happy UK and General American will definitely both stand you in best stead. I would also say if you are Italian, then Italian American will probably stand you in good stead as well. So areas of USA that have historically Italian heritage or Italian settlement would probably be a good accent for you as well, Italian American. But yeah, keep going with the RP and the American, General American. Australian maybe, I don't know. What would an Italian pass as? Maybe Latina, the Latinx maybe. You could probably there's the sort of slightly darker olive skin, the Mediterranean kind of look could pass as Central American maybe. So maybe Central American accents, so Spanish accents.
This recording, New Zealand.
Sarah Perry was a veterinary nurse who had been working daily at an old zoo in a deserted district of the Territory. So she was very happy to start a new job.
Very happy. Not quite hippie, but very happy. Very happy.
At a superb private practice in North.
I surely do not sound Italian, but I have a mixed British USA accent. Ah, okay. I mean, any of the British or UK US accents, I'd say then. Just keep practicing them all.
Square near Duke Street Tower. That area was much nearer for her and more to her liking. Even so, on her first morning, she felt stressed. She ate a bowl of porridge, checked herself in the mirror, and washed her face in a hurry.
Then she put on a plain yellow dress and a fleece jacket, picked up a kid, and headed for work. When she got there was a woman with a goose waiting for her. The woman gave Sarah an official letter from the vet.
Then she put on a plain yellow dress and a fleece jacket, zipped up her kit, and headed for work. When she got there was a woman with a goose waiting for her. The woman gave Sarah an official letter from the vet.
Official letter from the vet. Isn't it weird that I paused at that point because I thought I said letter without thinking about it rather than letter. But I have a feeling like this guy's going to say letter. And then I got there and he did. He said letter, not letter. Official letter from the vet. Official letter from the vet. Can you try New York accent if you haven't already? I assume there's one on here somewhere. There definitely will be. I'll get to New York, but while I'm down under, I want to go into Australian. I always feel self-conscious about doing Australian and New Zealand these days because I feel like I haven't put enough work into to practicing separating them.
This recording.
Comma get secure. Well, here's a story for you. Sarah Perry was a veterinary nurse who had been working daily at an old zoo in a deserted district of the Territory. So she was very happy to start a new job at a superb private practice in North Square near the Duke Street Tower. That area was much nearer for her and more to her liking. Even so, on her first morning, she felt stressed. She ate a bowl of porridge, checked herself in the mirror and washed her face in a
hurry. Washed her face in a hurry.
Then she put on a plain
Then she put on a plain yellow dress and a fleece jacket, picked up a kit and headed for work.
Yellow dress and a fleece jacket, picked up her kit and headed.
Picked up a kit. Picked up a kit and headed for work.
Headed for work. When she got there was a woman with a goose waiting for her.
The woman gave Sarah an official letter from the vet. Official letter from the vet.
The woman gave Sarah an official letter from the vet.
Letter from the vet.
The letter implied that the animal could be
suffering from a rare form of foot and mouth disease. Mouth disease. Which was surprising, because normally you would only expect to see it in a dog or a goat.
Which was surprising, because normally you would only expect to see it in a dog or a goat.
Dog or a goat. In a dog or a goat.
Sarah was sentimental, so this made her feel sorry for the beautiful bird.
Made her. made, 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 made. So it's coming from the back. May, 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 may. Hard to place. Made, made. May, may, me, me, may. I can't hold both of them for some reason. Made. I would say made. And he's saying may. So his is for the back in the mouth. Made.
Before long, that itchy goose began to strut around.
Strut. Stra. So his is definitely further forward in that one. Strut.
The office like a lunatic, which made an unsanitary mess.
Made.
The goose's owner, Mary Harrison, kept calling comma, which Sarah thought was an odd choice for a name.
Name.
Comma was strong and
huge, so it would take some force to trap her. Trap. Yeah, it's definitely up. Trap.
But Sarah had a different idea. The goose's owner, Mary Harrison, kept calling
comma, which Sarah
thought was an odd choice for a name. Comma was strong and huge, so it would take some force to trap her.
Trap. So it's not quite trip. So New Zealand would be trip. It would take some force to trap her. Trap. And Australian is trap. Fish.
But Sarah had a different idea. First, she tried gently stroking the goose's lower back with her palm, then singing a tune to her. Finally, she administered ether. Her efforts were not futile. In no time, the goose began to tire, so Sarah was able to hold on to comma and give her a relaxing bath. Once Sarah had managed to bathe the goose, she wiped her off with a cloth and laid her on her right side. Then Sarah confirmed the vet's diagnosis.
Then Sarah confirmed the vet's diagnosis.
Almost immediately, she remembered an effective treatment that required her to measure out a lot of medicine.
A lot of medicine.
This recording, Australia 32, Ella and Barbara.
An old zoo in a deserted district of the Territory, so she was very happy to start a new job at a superb private practice in North Square near the Duke Street Tower. That area was much nearer for her and more to her liking. Even so, on her first morning she felt stressed. She ate a bowl of porridge, checked herself in the mirror, and washed her face in a hurry.
Australia. So after all that practice, I think I'm perfect at Australian now. Let me give it a go. So Australian. So just putting what I've just heard into practice, I think this is perfect. Is this right, everybody? Is this unmistakably Australian? Is this? Am I doing it right, everyone? Thanks, mates. I think I'm doing it. Did I miss the Barradoon accent? Barradoon. I hadn't tried Barradoon accent, actually. Shut the fuck up, Rob. Is that perfect? That was perfect, was it, Perth? That was perfect, Perth? It sounded perfect to me, says Rafe. Perfect, mate. All that Australian work, and it's gone to great use. Not even close. Oh, is it too far west, mate? Was I too far west? I should answer my next chat with Doug and Dread like that. As perfect as my Italian. Yeah, mate. I don't know what you're saying about my Australian. It sounds like what you would call your flawless Australian, yeah. All right. I feel like I'll practice Australia and New Zealand some other time. What else we got? There's no Samoa or Tonga on here. What else we got? What was next? Somebody wanted a Dutch at some point. I've been saying I'd be getting back to Dutch at some point, didn't I? Just jumped right across to South Africa, mate. Combine that with my Italian. How does that sound? Italiana. I'm from Australia. Not even Dutch people can do a Dutch accent. Alright, well, let's see. Denmark, that's Danish. And Netherlands, that is Netherlands, that's Dutch. Alright, let's try this one. Mamma mia.
This recording, Netherlands 7, is copyright the International Dialects of English Archive. Comma Gets a Cure is copyright Douglas N. Honorath, Jill McCullough, and Barbara Somerville.
Well, here's a story for you. Sarah Perry was a veterinary nurse who had been working daily
nope,
at an
this
old
is
zoo
clearly just
in a
American.
deserted district.
Moved to California, blah blah blah, where he was raised. Yeah, he's just Californian. Can I do the Swedish chef? Hurdy-gurdy-gurdy. Hurdy-hurdy-gurdy.
This recording, Netherlands 5, is copyright the International Dialects of English Archive. Jill McCullough.
Well, here's a story for you. Sarah Perry was a veterinary nurse.
Can we, if it's okay, Netherlands 5. I was thinking maybe we record this underwater. Would that be okay with you? Sure. I just want to get the cleanest water sound possible over the top of your dialogue.
Been working daily at an old zoo in a deserted district of the territory, so she was very happy to start a new job at a superb private practice in North Square near the Duke Street Tower. That area was much nearer for her and more to her liking.
This just sounds American as well. Currently lives in California. Where are all these? Why is every fucking Netherlands example Californian? Has no voice teacher ever gone to the Netherlands and been like, hey, I need to record some people while I'm here? You want clean audio, you dunk it in water. Exactly. They use the water to clean the audio. Dutch people are clearly merfolk, yeah. Recorded on $2 earphones. Did we already have Czech or Slovak? I have done Czech, yes. Dutch accent either sounds American or flat as hell. Let's try this one. Subject was born in thingy, has lived in Australia for 5 years. Okay, so at least if she's not sounding American, she'll be sounding Australian.
This recording, Netherlands 6, is copyright the International Dialects of English Archive. Comma Gets a Cure is copyright Douglas N. Honorath, Jill McCullough, and Barbara Somerville.
Well, here's a story for you. Sarah Perry was a veterinary nurse who had been working daily at an old zoo in a deserted district of the territory, so she was very happy to start a new job at a superb private practice in North Square.
Good night, Spidey. See you tomorrow.
Street Tower. That area was much nearer for her and more to her liking. Even so, on her first morning, she felt stressed. She ate a bowl of porridge, checked herself in the mirror and washed her face in a hurry. Then she put on a plain yellow dress and a fleece jacket, picked up her kit and headed for work.
Which accents can you merge together into a hybrid like someone who's lived in a couple of places, like your actual accent? I don't know, I've never really tried doing that, Maddie. Well, not never. I've tried doing it with French and Scottish before. When Apis was speaking in Sylvan. That's not easy. You're hearing the Australian? I'm not. I was trying to listen out for it, but I wasn't hearing it. Sounded like there was a very tiny touch of the W on the very. The very.
When she got there was a woman with a goose waiting for her. The woman gave Sarah an official letter from the vet. The letter implied that the animal could be suffering from a rare form of foot and mouth disease.
Foot Foot and mouth disease.
Which was surprising, because normally you would only expect to see it in a dog or a goat.
Dog or a goat. None of these are Dutch. We've got a fucking American, a Dutch, an Australian, another American. Let's try this one.
This recording, Netherlands 4.
Who had been working daily at an old zoo in a deserted district of the territory, so she was very happy to start a new job at a superb private practice in North Square near the Duke Street Tower.
North Square near the Duke Street Tower. That area was much nicer for her. More to her liking.
That area was much nearer for her and more to her liking. Even so, on her first morning, she felt stressed. She ate a bowl of porridge.
A bowl. She ate a bowl of porridge.
Checked herself in the mirror and washed her face in a hurry. Then she put on a plain yellow dress.
Plain yellow dress.
And a fleece jacket, picked up her kit and headed for work. When she got there was a woman with a goose waiting for her.
A woman with a goose waiting for her.
The woman gave Sarah an official letter from the vet. The letter implied that the animal could be suffering from a rare form of foot and
mouth disease. You just need to ask permission first, Real Mark. If you warn the mods, like, hey, I have a link, can I send it? And then they give you permission for a few seconds so you can send the thing. Think you fancy? If you really want a Dutch accent, you can check out one of my professors / colleagues. Let's have a look then.
Members of the cortege at my inaugural lecture during this outbreak of corona. Thank you all, people who come here, colleagues from
come here.
Philips, ASML, I recognize a couple, and TUE. Thank you, family and friends, for being here.
Friends. Had a touch of the R at the back of the throat there. Friends, family and friends.
And also the people who are...
The people, so the TH is a D. The people...
Following the live stream.
Following the live stream. Following the live stream.
So, everything
is
under control.
Everything's under control. Everything. Let me hear that again.
Following the live stream. So, everything is under control.
Everything is under control. Control. So it's up here. Control. Gotta be careful just saying that, aren't I? Gonna clip that. Control. Everything is under control.
Are following the live stream. So, everything is under control. Basically, everything is under control refers to the sheer number of controls.
Everything is under control refers to the sheer number of controls
that you will find in nowadays wafer scanner systems. And
systems. Everything is under control refers to the sheer number of controls. Sheer number. I'm doing too much of the rolling at the front. Sheer number of controls.
To give you an example.
Example.
I've put one of ASML.
I've put
machines here on this slide and give an idea of dimensions. It's a huge machine. Here on this slide. And
slide. Here on this slide.
Give an idea of dimensions.
Huge machine.
Weighs 64,000 kilograms. And basically consists of
it's like Welsh, but all the vowels and pronunciations are different. Super useful. Thanks, Faulty. It's like Welsh, but all the consonants, the vowels, the intonations. Still try to speak too pretty, Rob. We Dutchies really prefer to just butcher the language.
Number of subsystems that are all being controlled.
All being controlled.
And if I walk a little bit,
a little bit through the things, so I think I'm getting a little bit better at where the voice should be in the mouth.
This system with you, then we start at this bottom.
We start at
with what we call the source, where basically extreme ultraviolet light is being created.
Not so much Russian. Am I going to Russian? Soft, like you balance a slug on your tongue. That's what I'd do if I had a slug on my tongue. It's control.
By source control, by basically controlling a stream of thin particles which are being bombed every 5,000 times per second.
5,000 times per second. Is he giving a lecture? Not like, I thought he was dressed to be like his like graduation or something. Is this just how they dress for everyday lectures? I mean, people that do their thing in professional manner like watching that. Thank you.
With an amazing speed. Now, if you...
It's his inaugural lecture, his first lecture as an official professor. Ah, cool. Congratulations, Professor Dr. M.F. Hirtjes. What's the IR stand for? Professor Dr. Irrigation. Irrigation, that's it, I bet. They're just normally for normal lectures, good.
Start to create this light, this light needs to be made into a uniform beam. That is what is happening in the illuminator. There are several control systems.
So you work at this university, real Mark? Ingenieur, which is the master's engineering title. Cool. Professor Dr. Engineer M.F. Hirtjes. I like his hat.
Associated with that process, for example, dose control. You enter, then the top of the machine.
Top. Top. Really rounded. So really rounded lips for a lot of it. Top of the machine. Really rounded top of the machine. You work at the company that makes those machines. ASML. What's ASML, sorry?
Which we call the radical state system. And that is an excellent example of an
excellent example.
Enormous amount of motion control. If you simply count the number of control loops being involved with radical state control loops and all its control mode.
So if I had made the Goliaths not German but Dutch instead, if I had made Dirk Kjagerberg, I would say, Bodger, please give me my locket back. Bodger, please give me my locket. I would prefer you not to use it. I am a monster, and I cannot believe what I have done, and I deserve to die. I'm sorry, Ferk. Please forgive me. I am Goliath. Please help yourself to anything. Mixture of Russian, Swedish, and German. Weird. Good night, Tim. We make lithography machines. Basically any sophisticated device with a processor has been made using our machines. Cool. Still don't even know what lithography is. Just more questions. More questions at every turn. Lithography. Alright, so a somethingograph, photograph, is something that captures photons. A spirograph is spirals. A seismograph captures seismic activities. So a lithograph captures lithium. Lithuanians, that's what it is. It takes Lithuanians and it makes a graph out of them. Graph! Everybody loves graphs, especially Lithuanians. It's a projector to make computer chips. Lithos is stone, is it? Stonograph. Computer chips. Cool. Is it right that when he continues sentence he voices up and only down at the end of it? So he goes up with the tone and then down at the end of the sentence? Is that what you're saying?
You easily end up with 200 plus separate control loops. Now this reticle state...
Reticle state is going up.
Essentially contains the blueprint, the reticle of a chip that needs to be processed. So the light that enters this reticle stage picks up the image of the chip and moves along with that image to what we call the projection optics box.
Why is he lecturing in English? Is this in the Netherlands? Part-time professor, yada yada yada. Eindhoven University of Technology. By using light, we project a pattern on silicon, which makes the transistors. Damn, this sounds exciting and very, very involved. International study, most likely. All right. I'm starting to lose steam a little. It's 11:30 at night, so I want to get to bed before too long. So we'll do like 1 or 2 more at most. People have been asking for, what have I heard asked for? People have asked for New York once or twice. I've heard somebody asked for Israeli once or twice, which I've never tried before, so that would be interesting to try. Baradoon's accent. Lots of international students. Okay, cool. Almost all lectures in university are English here. Dope. Baradoon. Maybe I should try Baradoon. Brightonian. Let's try Israeli. I've never tried an Israel accent before. Israeli. Will it be under Middle East? It probably will. Yeah. Let's have a listen to this.
Of this recording, Israel 5, Gil McCullough and Barbara Summerlin.
Sarah Perry was a veterinary nurse who had been working daily at an old zoo in a deserted district of the territory. So she was very happy to start a new job at a superb private practice in North Square near the Duke Street Tower.
North Square near the Duke Street Tower.
That area was much nearer for her and more to her liking.
Gotta end in Scouse, mate, at the end. Can't leave us hanging. Gotta sign off in Scouse.
Even so, on her first morning, she felt stressed. She ate a bowl of proggy, checked herself in the mirror, and washed her face in a hurry.
Hurry. In the hurry.
And she put on a plain yellow dress and a fleece jacket, picked up her kit and headed for work. When she got there, there was a woman with a goose waiting for her. The woman
say, is this Little Wing? Is this a good representation of Israeli? The woman say. Born and raised in Israel, moved to Tel Aviv when 22, lived there till 28, moved to Staten Island, New York. Alright. Try another person, you got a bit of bias, okay. A little bit of New York in there, maybe. Let's try Jerusalem. Fuck, it'd be funny. I just had the idea that because it tells you the male, their age, sorry, it tells you their gender, their age at the time of the recording, and then the date of birth that they were when they were born. It would just be so fucking funny if it said Israel and then it said male 2000 and 2012 or whatever, 0001. You're like, and then it said Israeli Jerusalem or Bethlehem. If you want to learn the overly stereotypical Dutch, try How to Get a Dutch Accent in YouTube, and you get a guy that does it perfectly. I'll have to give it a go sometime, real.
This recording is Cure, Jill McCullough and Barbara Somerville.
Well, here's a story for you. Sarah Perry was a veterinary nurse who had been working daily at an old zoo in a deserted district of the territory. So she was very happy to start a new job at a superb private practice in North Square near the Duke Street Tower. That area was much nearer for her and more to her liking. Even so, on her first morning she felt stressed. She ate a bowl of porridge, checked herself in the mirror.
Is this Israeli? Is this a good representation? Nah, didn't think so. There's only 5 of them. Let's go down the list, see if any of them are any good.
This recording.
Well, here's a story for you. Sarah Perry was a veterinary.
The people recording these are like professional voice teachers and voice accent coaches and stuff. Like when they recorded mine, why the fuck did he accept me to just like do it out in the open when there were some people playing rugby right next to me in the field? Like know something about recordings. Jesus, take them into a room, use decent equipment. This is, yes, the whole point of you recording them is so that people can listen back to them and scrutinize the exact sounds that people are making. You can't even hear it, all crackly and shit.
Veterinary nurse who had been working daily at an old zoo in a deserted district of the territory.
I'm definitely American. Lived in Italy for a year and a half, lived in Los Angeles, California for the time of the interview. Yeah, she's American as well. I don't think there's many very good Israeli options here.
This recording, Israel 2, is copyright the International Dialects of English Archive. Comma Gets a Cure is copyright Douglas N. Honoroff, Jill McCullough and Barbara Somerville.
Well, here's a story for you. Sarah Perry was a veterinary nurse who had been working daily at an old zoo in a deserted district of the territory. So she was very happy to start a new job at a superb private practice in North...
Private practice? Mate. Sounded Australian, this one. Yep, subjects lived in Australia. You can pick up on it, can't you? You can pick up on it. Once you start listening out for accents.
This recording, Israel 1, is copyright the International Dialects of English Archive. Comma Gets a Cure is copyright Douglas N. Honoroff, Jill McCullough and Barbara Somerville.
Well, here's a story for you. Sarah Perry was a veterinary nurse who had been working daily at an old zoo in a deserted district of the territory. She was very happy to start a new job at a superb private practice in North Square near the Duke Street Tower.
You're so good at your job, Rafe. Thank you very much. The number of times that you try and put a command in.
That area was much nearer for her and more to her liking. Even so, on her first morning, she felt stressed. She ate a bowl of porridge, checked herself in the...
That's two Israelis that have really struggled with the word porridge. Porridge? Porridge? You miss all the times that I get right.
At the mirror and felt stressed. She ate a bowl of porridge, checked herself at the mirror and washed her face.
This is Lithuanian, Rob. You should have me or Little Wing for a real Israeli accent. It's a better representation than those on the website. Okay, let's listen to it then. Have we got a link coming through from Little Wing or 12 Oreo? Porridge for Israelis like purple for Scottish. Purple burglar alarm. Subject was born in Lithuania, moved to Israel at age 12, and moved to the United States at age 21. Not even Lithuanian, not even Israeli, rather. Every one of these Israeli accents is not Israeli. Good work, International Dialects of English Archive. I already posted it, says Little Wing. I don't see it. Fancy or Wraith, have we got a link from Little Wing somewhere? There it is. Thank you, Fancy.
What's walking, brother? What weird? Voila, on the face. I'm eating movies, my brother. What?
I'm eating movies, my brother? I'm eating movies, my brother.
Why? Just like that. My ex, she's crazy in me. She's not...
Just like that. My ex, she crazy me.
Closed on herself. She's a thief.
You look broken bombings.
Broken bombings. Broken.
Yes, I'm tired missiles. Nonsense, you know, in the little. What with you? Me.
What is going on? What are we watching? What is this? Is it like the English Hebrew slang? So this is like these things mean stuff in Israel, do they? Broken bombings. What is that about? This is Israeli slang translated word by word. Gotcha, I see. That's pretty funny.
In the usual, expensive brother. Doing life.
Expensive brother.
Cow.
My brother was cold. I missed.
My brother was cold. This is too funny to actually pay attention to the voices for. So you're saying, Little Wing and Oreo, this is good representation of Israeli accent? If I can get over what they're saying.
Dying on you like a cow on you. I'm going over there. You want something?
What the fuck? I can't pay attention to the voice because of what they're saying. Dying on you like a cow for you or something. Dying on you for cow for you. Want something?
Yes, bring me small upside down.
Closed.
Closed. What the fuck? Bring me small upside down.
Fire on you.
Peace.
Peace.
I want a big miracle on milk.
Big.
Still to take. I want to take the miracle. Minute it will come out. Thanks. In the request.
Peace. I want a small upside down in a complicated sandwich.
A complicated sandwich. Jesus. I need a better example of this because I can't pay attention. This is spot on Israeli accent, absolutely. Okay, I gotta try and pay attention to the actual voices here. This is funny as fuck. I want to order miracle. I want to take miracle. I'm too tired for this. I want a small upside down.
I'm sitting here.
I'm sitting here.
Put me cracks on the side.
Put me cracks on the side.
In order, finished, friend.
Thank you. Have a magical day.
Have a magical day. So it's got that have a magical day.
In the request, Sol.
In the request.
Hey, I would please like a small Americano, disassembled 2 elements.
Oh, fuck. Disassemble elements.
Which Canon Supreme?
Which Canon Supreme? Supreme, that's an interesting one. Supreme.
Which Canon Supreme?
Supreme. It's not like a throat R, it's a sound that I'm not sure I can do there. Supreme. How is he doing that?
Which Canon Supreme?
Prime. It's like he's trilling the back of his throat. Canon Supreme. Canon Supreme. They roll it as gutturally. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I just kind of got to there. Nobody. It sounds like it's. It sounds like it's a throat trill. Canon Supreme. You need to try and fail at rolling the R to make that sound. Canon Supreme. Prime. That was pretty close. Which Canon Supreme? Prime.
Which a man.
Ah, thank you.
Which a man.
Wow, this
Wow.
is tasty in levels.
This is tasty in levels. It's also making me hungry. This is tasty in levels.
Too bad on the time, bro.
It's like ch, but softer. Ch, sh, ch, sh.
Brother?
Brother? Man, you'd really have to roll. You have to work on the throat.
This is something son of a bitch in
It's no wonder that a complicated sandwich makes you hungry. Yeah.
a different part.
Yes, one of the things, if not the.
One of the things, not the.
What is this here?
What is this here? This is cool. I think I'll practice some Israeli. What is this here? Some what brother? I feel like I could use this in D&D somewhere. Brother? What type of people would have an Israeli accent? Brother? What is this here? Like hobgoblins or what? Brother? Canon supreme. A cat purr, yeah. Crazy people. Dragonborn. Sounds dragony. Golems. Golems. Brother. Supreme. Canon supreme. Got to get that Use this exact dialogue next time you need something unintelligible, yeah. Your Israeli accent sounds more Dutch than your Dutch accent, Rob. Thanks, real.
Which diggers?
What, you throwing me stings? Careful that I will not fly on you.
Fly on you? What, you throwing me stings?
I put a line on you.
I put a line on you.
Drive to me from the eyes.
Drive to me from the eyes. It sounds like something you'd like in a serenade. Drive to me from your eyes.
Don't confuse me in the eggs. What, you drive?
Don't confuse me in the eggs. Oh fuck! I'm too tired for this. What, you drive like some sort of penis?
Like some sort of a penis. Drive to me from the eyes. Don't confuse me in the eggs. What, you drive like some sort of a penis?
I drive like some sort of a penis.
Come here.
Fly
for me.
Fly for me.
Go sleep on the nose.
Go sleep on the nose.
Hello. What was closed? What is the schedule?
What is the schedule? Oh, this is so good. It's like they're reading wrongly translated subtitles, yeah.
We are living in a movie, huh?
You're living in a movie, huh? Oh. I feel like I could use it in something. What could I use for that? So the script that we're seeing underneath the English, that's Israeli, is it? I'm assuming.
Everything in order?
Yalla, shtok. You're interested to my penis. Your mother's vagina.
Dude, that's Arabic.
Yeah, not for this movie. Yeah, sorry.
Listen, fight you have, but my
Hebrew. Sorry, Hebrew is what I meant.
My penis is broken.
My penis is broken. So that's some cool looking script. That looks old. Draconic kind of works. I've always thought of my Draconic as being Kosa though. Kosa. That's Arabic, is it? I might have to think about that. Might add some Israeli Hebrew into. There's a few things that I don't have a specific specific real world counterpart for yet. I don't think I've decided what goblin is in my world and the bugbears, the hobgoblins, and the goblins all speak it. Can you do proper glottals in kossa? Kossa? No, there's 3 different types, isn't there? There's k and t, k. Don't know.
We Israelis don't see each other from a meter.
From a meter. Cool. That's cool. Thanks for that. 12 Oreo and Little Wing. It's very old and one of the oldest languages that's widely used today. Yeah. Hebrew. I'll have to give it a go. Add it to something. Represent something in my world with it. What if I actually? Maybe I should check that. What would it be? Let's go over here. Is it in? I think it's in my iCloud, which is a long time ago. How about them tongue twisters? Send them through, and I'll see if I can give them a go. Eh? That's the wrong one. One in here. I could see it being like a Wizard Academy dialect. Wizard Academy dialect, that could be cool. DM screen, have I got a thing called languages? Or is it on the DM screen? I think it's on the main pages, maybe. No worries, Hasha Fupa, good night.
My passive perception is 24.
Thanks, Little Wing. I'll keep you in mind. And you too, 12 Oreo. Night hashed. One traditional Finnish one is vesihisi sihisi hisisa. Vesihisi sihisi hisisa. Hisiso? I'm not really sure how to pronounce the A with the 2 dots above it. Hisiso. Vesihisi sihisi hisisa. Koku, koko, koko, kokun. It's a Finnish one. Languages, here we go. I have not looked at this in a long time. Let's have a look what I used to, what my first thought of. Man, I haven't looked at this in ages. Let me show you it. Abyssal, spoken by demons, Yuan-Ti, creatures of the abyss. Script, they use infernal. Any sister languages? Infernal is a sister language. Description, deep, horrendous, guttural and gurgling. Any analog, any real world analog? I have not decided on one, but an example of somebody speaking it is, let's have a look. What did I say? From 15 seconds to 23 seconds. Are you gonna open? Oh man, well that's good, isn't it? YouTube, the video that I used in as an example is not even there anymore. Is it learnable by the PCs? Yes, it is. How many creatures in the monster manual understand it? Celestials. The script is celestial. There's no sister language to it. Melodic, harmonic, rhyming, poetic, includes overtones. The closest mortals can get is by speaking while throat singing. Analogues, the tonal aspect of Mandarin. Let's have a look at that.
Hello, my name's Jim. I'm
this kid who can speak like 7,000 languages by the age of 16. What did I say? 8 minutes 28 is the example, somewhere around here.
好，大家好，我现在要说一点普通话。我在学校学中文学了7月了，我老师是美国人。
Very tonal. Up and down on the loro. And then this one from 1 minute 10. This is celestial. That's pretty gorgeous, isn't it? Silence sound, good night. Thank you for popping around. Ciao. How do you pronounce those sounds? I'm damned if I knew. How on earth is he doing that? I have no idea. Overtone singing. Maybe I should practice that. That would be pretty fucking weird party skill to have, wouldn't it? And anytime that somebody happens to speak to somebody in Celestial, I just crack that out at the table and be like, the fuck is this? A clever throat and diaphragm stuff. Sounds of gods. Yeah. Complicated, but there's guides on YouTube. Yeah, maybe I should give it a go. Is it learnable by a PC? Yes, though it's exceptionally difficult to replicate. Common, the common tongue read by everybody. Script is common, sister tongue is undercommon, the analogues is English because I speak English. Example? Really? Draconic. I said it uses the Draconic script, no sister languages. It's very old, harsh, hard consonants and sibilants. The analogue is Kosa. Here is an example of a similar... not available anymore. God damn it. I've lost my Kosa example. It is learnable by PCs, but it's a difficult language for non-reptilian mouths to form, but one that can be learned. Druidic is symbolic. It uses elements of Italian. I don't remember saying that.
Hello, my name's Tim. I'm 16.
Hey Tim,
and
again.
On this video, I'm going to be
916.
speaking 20 languages. Quando sono stato in Francia.
No, I'm not familiar. I don't like that anymore. I don't think of Druidic as being a speakable language, so I'm gonna retcon that. Rob says even to himself, I'm impressed. Have a PC that speaks Celestial, make an NPC that speaks it, and then you just start doing this. Yeah, I know, right? Can you imagine? Get Trevor Noah, he does it well. Yeah, I think it was. Trevor Noah's Kosa lesson. Switch that up to the link. Yeah, it's getting late now. I'm not going to stay doing touch-ups. As somebody mentioned, I'll come back to this during the law stream, maybe. I just was interested to know what, to sort of revisit it and see what I initially said. Elvish is based on Welsh, I remember that much. Giant is based on Dutch and uses the Dwarvish script. Gith, Gith is Japanese apparently. Very unlikely to know it without good reason. I don't remember saying that Gith was Japanese.
皆さんこんにちは、熊谷萌奈です。Easy Japanese は仙台からお送りします。今日は町の人たちに日本についてどう思っているか聞いてみたいと思います。
I don't remember saying that, but I mean, why not? I don't have Japanese for anything else. I can see Gith speaking that. Gnomish, what did I say? Oh, Gnomish is Irish, I remember that yet. Oh, Goblin I've said was Farsi. I did have a Goblin language apparently.
beginnen غرم و فکر میکنم که پردازش همین بخشی از یاد گرفتن فارسی فهمیدن تاریخ و فرهنگ ایران است چون این کشور در آمریکا خوشنامه منفی داره اما ایران یعنی یک جامعه پویاست که خیلی قبیله خیلی ملیت داره.
Yeah, that's Goblin. I like that. That works. That works for Goblin. What was the Welsh example? Let's have a look.
Yn agor lot o gyfleoedd i fi'n bersonol.
Dwywaith, dwywaith y sgiliau, dwywaith y dewis, mae mor syml â ni. Dwi wedi bod yn ffodus iawn i allu gweithio yn y Gymraeg ac yn y Saesneg, a mae hefyd yn rhan annatod o'n cymeriad i fy mod i'n ddwyieithog.
That's what it sounds like to a person who doesn't speak Elvish, standing around a couple of elves talking. Who in your world has the Newfoundland accent? Let's have a look, shall we? Hobbit. Hobbit sounds like Cornish. That makes sense. Let's have a look.
Gorthira da, Elizabeth o fi, ha trigis of in Cerno. Ha Cernoas of, a mi gaws an yeth Cernuic.
There goes in Aethio.
So mi the lathus disgi and Cernuic ha mi...
Sounds like somebody speaking from Somerset, but...
Thesa o mam o tisgi Cernuic class o nos. Ha hi rug de chwelis tre, ha disgi ddim, ha go broader, the gaws an yeth. Ha genna o thas, ruggi disgi in west.
Ruggi disgi. Infernal, based on the throaty elements of Hebrew. Hey look, I've already used Hebrew at some point. The grating elements specifically. The grating elements of 506. Let's have a look.
Hello, my name's Tim.
Of course it's fucking Tim again. Good on you, Tim. 506. Here we go.
הרבה אנשים שמדברים עברית, אז אני התחלתי לרדת לדרך של שפות זרות
So yeah, it's just the grating, the this kind of thing.
עברית לפני 3 שנים. ועכשיו אני כל כך נוח כשאני חייב לדבר עם מישהו, להסביר משהו.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like infernal, it doesn't sound like demons, but it's the demons would be much more of that, much more grating. I'm mad at Tim. Why are you mad at Tim? Because he can speak 20 languages at the age of 16. I wonder how many he speaks these days. Orc is Russian, of course. Primordial has no analog, and you can learn it as a human, but it's exceptionally difficult for a non-elemental mouth to form. It uses very complex syntax. Specific examples of bubbles, rapids, and gushing sounds from Aquan, and so on. Yada yada yada. Fey creatures use French. Thieves' cant is like Mason's signals at baseball.
One, that's the third one, and then he's going to keep going, right? Because you don't want that batter to know that that's the pitch, okay? So let's do it again for pumps. Let's do 2, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2. So that would be a number 1, fastball. Getting it? All right.
Getting it.
All right, the other way to do it with man on second would be outs plus 1. So whatever the outs are, however many outs there are, let's say there's 1 out, you're going to do outs plus 1, so it'll be second sign, because there's 1 out plus 1 will be second sign. Okay, so we got outs plus 1, we just give them, boom, 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 boom. That would be 2, it's the second sign.
Undercommon. Undercommon, because it's similar to common, and you can kind of understand it if you speak common, you can kind of muddle your way through undercommon. I've put it as thick Geordie or Yorkshire. Like really thick, where you're like, I can almost catch up on what he's saying.
Aye, way buggermore. We am a Geordie. Aye, indeed I am. Now we mother, it's me old doll, maybe me old girl. We'll call her mother-in-law, or even me mum. It's father or da, at times me old man. Do you understand, Henny? As best as you can. We love the old time, the river, you know. We love 32. The ones made by Ma. We like our peace pudding and our brunel. We like.
You see what I mean? Like you can, if you speak common, i.e. English, you can kind of pick up on what he's saying.
Singing a song, we like sharing a tale. We wore Geordie lasses, they'll turn a man's seed, make his heart, maybe his rush, leave him breathless for deed. And war Geordie lads, we aye, the canny fine, best food up north here, the taste as sweet as wine. War city, it's Newcastle, upon the river Tyne, come and give us all a visit, you'll enjoy it read fine. With bridges and history, we're well famed worldwide, for shipbuilding and its builders, full of great pride. No, I'm certainly not Scottish, there's no jute, didn't confuse a Scotsman, or you'll hear what I'll shoot. No, we're like a cup of tea, yeah, not like a tea break, we're kind of off chatter though, and make no mistake. We're like a drop of beer, for football, aye in the dogs, and after making love you'll find we're sweet like logs.
There you go. So if you can understand that, you speak undercommon. If you can't understand that, you're probably not proficient in undercommon. There's my example for undercommon. Bullywugs. Bullywugs just speak frog and toad croaking. I don't have an example for them, or an analog. Deep speech, you might be able to learn to understand it, but cannot recreate the sounds of it. So you might be able to learn to hear it, but can't speak it. I don't have an analog for deep speech because it's so foreign, it's so alien. Gnolls just sound hyena-like. Winter wolf would just sound like an Arctic wolf, and then I didn't come up with any of the others because they just don't ever come up, so why would I need to spend time doing it? There you go then. That's something I haven't done in a long time. Look at all this. Look at all this language work that I did, analysing the different languages of all the different things. These are all the creatures in the monster manual that speak Common. These are all the ones that speak Draconic. I don't know what the colour coordination means. I can't remember why I colour coordinated them. Why is this one red and this one's blue? I don't know. Abyssal. These are all the ones that speak Abyssal. All the ones that speak Primordial, Undercommon, Infernal, Elvish, Giant, Celestial. These are the only creatures in the whole book that speak Celestial. Look at all these languages. All the creatures in the game that has telepathy. You didn't leave yourself a legend? Shame. I'm pretty sure that it's to do with alignment. I'm almost certain it's to do with alignment. The angels are blue. The gnomes are also considered good. Treants are considered good. Demons are considered evil. Hook, Horrors, Otyugs, and Three Kreen are unaligned. Sladput. Oh no, these are all evil though. These are evil, evil, evil. The different types of evil. I don't know. I think it's to do with their alignment. Anyway, that's enough of that. And enough of the stream. That's it. I've got to go to bed. Thank you very much for joining me for the accent stream, guys. This was a lot of fun. I'll definitely do another similar thing at some point. Got to keep those accents working. Got to keep practice. Got to keep practicing the accent work for the different voices. Doing some Scouse, mate. Yeah, so I've got to do some Scouse at the end, mate. So I gotta cut off. I didn't end up getting to New York. Sorry about that. I'll have to do New York another time. Bed, but it's 7 AM. No, I'm in, mate. It's fucking 12 PM. 12 AM rather. It's fucking midnight here. I'm kind of hungry as well, and I've got a stream in 9 hours. I've got to get to bed, and I've got a shower. Jesus, I should have broke off like half an hour ago. So thanks for joining me. Thanks for sticking around. I know it's not my usual content, but hopefully you found it at least a little bit interesting. Hopefully you learned a little bit about the voice and stuff, mate, or how I approach making voices. I will see you in about 9 hours for Robert Reed's. We're going to be reading Pathfinder because I've got to get used to the rules of Pathfinder before I run a game for my friend Dag. So join me in about 9 hours as I start to read a PDF of the rules of Pathfinder, Pathfinder Edition 1. So that'll be fun. See you then. Bye. Did you know my patrons get a lot of special perks, like access to all of my homebrewed rules and stats and spells and feats and all sorts of things? Check it out.